Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello and welcome to episode 101. That's
I don't like how you
odd
said that.
to say. Of Swish and Flick. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Ezra.
I'm gonna start all over.
Now I'm going to have to think of a new name.
No, it was good. I liked it.
This episode is sponsored by Alicia McLeod. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alicia. Today we will be discussing chapter 28 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Goff.
The madness, of Mr. Crouch. So make sure that you have read the chapter and you're ready to swerve into the details. But before we begin, and before I go to Mix Mouse Tales, we have a new wizard among us.
Is it a new wizard or a returning wizard?
It's a returning Puff.
An old wizard. I like to call myself an old wizard. Stigglebats McGee here.
Oh.
Back. All right. You
Is
know,
the last time you were on an episode like for Tiffany's maternity leave?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just take over here. So,
I'm just going to sip my coffee.
what has happened in Harry Potter? Like, what's going on?
Since you've been here?
Like, if you could give me like a one-sentence summary.
We got super famous.
Oh, okay. All right.
We're really super famous.
Super famous.
So, like, were the Hufflepuffs still eating food? Like,
Yeah.
Always.
okay, the Slytherins were still being bad.
No.
No.
And the Ravenclaws were still being, like, too smart for their own good.
Yeah.
Like, and Gryffindor is team popular over there. Queen Bee still. That's basically the gist of it, right? That's what's happened.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, cool. Well,
Where have you been?
I'm
in the
all
year?
I'm all caught up now.
Yeah, where are you?
Well, this wizard kind of comes and goes. Okay, so I've been in and out. Wow. Stop. Hey, now. Phrasing. Okay, phrasing. I've been in Middle Earth for a little while, so. Hanging out with
Galaxies.
I was hanging out with Frodo for a while. We're getting ready to throw the ring in the fire, and
Spoilers.
we're getting ready to. I don't know if we're going to, because to be honest with you, major spoiler, Frodo doesn't throw the ring in the fire. Okay, so it's not Frodo. And then been in a galaxy far, far away.
Hold on, I have a question.
Yeah.
Who's Frodo?
Who's Frodo?
Yeah.
Wow. Frodo Baggins. He's the main character in Lord of the Rings.
Who's a Baggins?
Wow,
This really
that
good.
was good.
That was good.
Schmeagol.
I'll do readings for you.
Yeah, Frodo's just the main character. He's a ring bearer. Pretty big deal. Do they have rings in Harry Potter? Like, are there like magical rings?
Yes.
Like what? Like which ones?
Have you read the books?
Horcrux?
What, the Horcrux? That's a magical ring?
Yeah.
Because they turned it into magic?
Well, it belonged to Slytherin.
Let me ask you another question. Are there any invisible, rings that would, make me
It
invisible?
didn't belong to
A
Slytherin.
cloak
It was the
will make you invisible.
Marvolo ring.
No, I want a ring. Okay.
Correction.
All right.
What?
As Sarah said,
I
that
said it belonged to Slytherin, and I was like, wait, no. Marvolo.
Yeah.
Riddle. It was a Riddle family ring.
as Sarah said, it made Dumbledore's hand sick.
Started with his hand.
Interesting.
Oh, that's right. Vinny said there are invisibility hats.
Really? That's pretty cool. Huh. Well, yeah. So I don't know, guys. I've just been in space and in Middle Earth and
All over.
everywhere else. Westeros too. Been over in Westeros as well. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Let's go.
It's over.
I know it's done. My life is over now.
Oh.
We had to shut it down. So, anyways, how are you guys though?
Do good.
Silence.
Busy.
They're
Famous.
wow.
Oh, yeah. Someone corrected me. It's the Gaunt family. Yep. I know what I'm talking about. Not the Riddle family. Ring, Gaunts. Yep.
Yeah. Well, Tom Riddle.
Hashtag we're not on that book yet, and I haven't read it in a while.
Elaine
so.
Prince, she's just some lady.
Listen, Linda. Listen.
All right, so to our old wizard, we love you.
I love you too.
It's been real.
Glad to have you here.
He'll pop in and out, I'm sure. Weekly profit time.
Yeah. So this is fun weekly profit news because it is...
Because Ezra's not.
No, because it's not just like Potter news, it's Swish news, which I always like telling people.
Yes.
It's just more exciting. So I know
Okay. You're like, what's going on?
I know that there are a lot of listeners, which I'm super excited about, coming to the Wizardly World of Kent in Kent, Ohio.
Where's that?
Kent, Ohio.
Never been.
Did I ever tell you the story about our roommate? He called a hotel and he was like, "Hi, my name is Chris from Kent, Ohio." And I stared at him and I'm like, they don't care that you're from Kent, Ohio. Fun story. So anyway. So Wizardly World of Kent is happening on July 27th and Swish will be there. We are not only going to have a booth. No, what's the word? A
Tent.
Spot. A spot.
I always
Table.
say booth.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a booth, and then
A booth.
and we'll be there
All of the
all day.
booths.
And our booth will be right next to our poster booth, Accio Designs, which we're gonna sell all those posters there, and they are discounted. Just saying, they're cheaper than the website whenever you come to Wizardly World of Kent, but. We are hosting trivia again, and they're going to have a sign up sheet for trivia at Wizardly World, and then once it's filled, it's cut off. So if you guys want to be in on our trivia, you want to go sign up early. We will post all over social media where that's going to be. We might not know until the day of. It's just going to, we don't know how the setup is yet.
Are we going to do 5 teams of 5?
7 teams of 5.
Ding. I can't reach.
And even if you don't get on a team, you can still come watch. It's a big area.
Yeah, and it's
Oh,
fun.
it is a big area.
And it's fun.
It fills up fast, though. I will let you know that. So
Yeah.
it fills up fast, and that was only our first time doing it
And we were
last year,
overwhelmed.
and it filled up really fast. People don't take trivia lightly,
I know. And
And-
we will have prizes for the winning team.
and if you're an adult against a group of kids, they still might beat you because they were crushing it last year. Just saying.
my God.
Don't
Yeah.
underestimate the kids.
We did we thought it was going to be all adults. So we made really difficult questions and stuff.
They knew them.
And so then we're like, oh my gosh, it's only kids.
So,
Then were
yeah,
like,
we
let's
saw them.
scrap all the easy ones. And then the 3 of them asked the questions and I did all the calculating of the answers. And then I'm hearing the kids around me like, oh my gosh, that's so easy. Oh, that's so easy. And then we're like, okay, go back to the hard questions. Go back to the hard questions.
And they knew them. They did really
Yeah.
good. So we're hosting trivia. We don't have a time for trivia yet, I don't believe, but we will let
No, we
everybody
don't.
know as soon as we know.
I assume it's going to be sometime in the afternoon.
Hopefully.
Maybe.
I
Hopefully.
don't before or afternoon. I'm
Yeah.
not sure, but I hope in the afternoon. What time does it start, Meg?
I think 10.
I think 10 as well.
10 to 8 or 9.
Parking
10 to 8 or
is
9,
going to be rough. This fest gets bigger and bigger every year.
They
so
have parking at
early and often.
They have parking at the high school in Kent, and then they have free shuttles that shuttle you into downtown, which is nice. It makes it a little easier.
Yeah.
We are also doing a live podcast during the fest. We are not positive what we're going to talk about yet, but if anybody has any ideas, feel free to send them our way. We are down for it, but we're going to record whatever that live podcast is, and we'll put it out to everybody who can't make it. And then also Sunday morning, because I know a lot of people are traveling, so most of you are staying overnight in Kent on Saturday, which is so awesome and so exciting. So just to thank everybody for coming so far to just hang out with us and meet us and come see us talk and everything, we're going to be hosting a Swish breakfast. And it's just going to be in downtown Kent. Basically where we have trivia. We're just going to meet everybody there. We figured it would be easy. Everybody's going to know where it is. They're going to know how to get there. The parking won't be an issue the next morning because it is it's not going to be busy the next day. So we're just going to bring coffee, donuts, maybe bagels, just to have a little breakfast buffet for everybody just to mingle and chat with us and hang out in the morning. So Eddie, can someone swing by and pick us up from the UK to Ohio? That'd be great. Thanks.
I'm on it.
That would be awesome. I heard that
my
you guys
way.
are going to Disney next year, and I'm jealous. So, but yeah, so
Coming up
we
fast.
hope to see everybody there. We're really excited. We are going to have some merch for sale. We decided because a couple people asked for it.
Yeah.
So we'll have some stuff there available for sale.
Just
we're gonna
get it right
Yeah.
away instead of, ordering it
Shipping.
on the internet and all that.
We'll have free buttons for everybody. We might make a second button just to like change up the design for people who maybe came last year and got like our original buttons. So, yeah, I'm excited.
It's going to be
I'm
good.
very
I feel-
nervous.
I'm excited.
I'm a little bit nervous, but like I just think it's going to be a really fun time, and it's going to be.
I don't know.
It's going
I
to be
was
fun.
very emotional last year when it was
It was
over.
just really overwhelming. Like we did that live podcast and so many people came, even like people who weren't listeners yet.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool to see that.
And I still laugh because we were like, does anybody have any questions? And then Lacey out the gate was like, your feelings on Snape. And we're like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, all right, let's talk about it. It
Yeah.
was so funny.
That was great. And I
Lacey
know
coming
a
clutch.
handful of the girls who were there last year are coming back. I can't wait to see everybody again. I can't wait to meet new people. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
So if we really want people to come to this event, I just want to let everyone know that your favorite Swish and Flick host will be there as well.
So
You are some people's favorite.
this is being
Just saying.
recorded, so there's proof. So if you don't show up,
You can't go to stuff
I'll be there. I have been. Hold on.
Yeah.
I have been 2 years in a row. I've been there. Okay.
True.
Okay. Nice. So plan is to be there. Favorite Swish and Flick host right here. Sorry, Katie.
What?
I was just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I love every
No,
time he
you're
talks
cool.
about something, he always apologizes
Apologizes
to
to me.
Katie.
I don't know
He's like, I'm
why.
sorry, Katie. He's like, Katie,
Because
I'm
he
sorry.
loves Katie.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
don't know
Katie.
More than
why.
everybody else.
house.
But do you think she's easily offended or something?
I just worry, like
Got no
But
worries.
he doesn't worry about the rest of us.
no.
I'm deep-
You don't worry
Really
about the
offended.
Slytherin, the judgy Slytherin over here. Who
Oh,
just gives
my
you the beady
Lord.
eyes.
There's no way I can't win. So
What does that
I'm
mean?
kidding.
Wow.
Can I talk on your mic?
No.
I love you.
Get away from the green.
Let's move on.
I got the green. Sorry, it was green. Just say green.
I did say it. I'm not going to say it again.
Your green is over.
My green's
Time
over. It's
for
now yellow.
It's like you suck some helium.
We should do that one time.
There's a
can
shortage,
Harriet-
Katie.
There is a shortage. Can Harriet read her
Nope.
recap?
Oh my God,
come
do
on.
it. People want it,
No,
Katie. People want
I
it.
can't do it today.
Just let her be. You do you, Katie.
Go be do. Go be do.
Go be do, Katie.
Beats Harriet.
Oh my god. You
Oh,
need
it's
a,
Harriet.
You need
It's
someone.
Harriet. Can you do a Harriet or a Harriet? What would your name be? Sarriet.
I can beat Harriet.
I don't know. Marriott. You
I
like,
like
a Marriott.
Marriott. I like Marriott.
Well, no, then you'd be Carriot. Because if we do that, except for me, I would be Sarriet. You'd be Carriot, like a carrot. You'd be Marriott, like
Like
a
the
Marriott.
Marriott.
And then Tiffany would be Tarriot, because she's trash.
I'm trash.
And I don't know, how would you say with him?
Harriet.
Harriet.
Oh, he's like a English Harriet.
Harriet.
Oh my god. All right, guys, a recap. So I'm doing a recap of our last chapter episode because the last episode was number 100. Woo, 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 woo.
And we can't recap it because we haven't
Because
done
we
it yet.
haven't done it yet. So last chapter episode, Ron was being a little bit exaggerating on his tale of his underwater hostage situation
A little.
until Hermione put him in check. Karkaroff is
snore.
hovering in Snape's class, and he shows something to him on his left arm. I don't know what that's all about.
Left arm.
And most importantly, Harry got to see Sirius again.
So serious. Alrighty, Rooskies. Time to summarize the chapter. So the trio, they send a letter to Percy, and then they go to visit Hobby.
Thank God. That's all I want to do.
Like Hobby.
A reading blooper.
Oh gosh, they go to visit Dobby because they have his presents that they want to give him. And of course, Ron would a little schnack ski or two. They see Winky, who they can no longer recognize. She's literally covered in filth. And it seems like she's been self-medicating. She's missing her master, and, she's keeping his secrets. Keep the secrets, y'all. Keep the secrets.
We don't.
We don't. Hermione starts to get unwanted mail, and Hagrid gives her some help after a great class featuring the Nifflers. Oh, the Niffler. And then Ron learns a gold lesson that's upsetting for him. Hermione wants to know if and how Rita was if and how Rita has the school bugged. Rita. And they finally get a response from good old Percy. The 4 champions find out what the third and final task is. Those are 2 things that you could have dinged for. Crumb has a few words with Harry. You know, like he does with everyone because he doesn't talk a lot. Harry finds a disoriented Mr. Crouch and tries to get help for him, but things go astray. Both Karkaroff and Hagrid get heated, and at the end of the night, Harry's just happy to be away from an angry Hagrid, and he can't wait to tell Ron and Hermione what happened.
This was a loaded chapter.
Yep.
And I love...
Like a big baked potato.
Like a really big baked potato. And I love
With
how...
bacon and cheese.
This is where
baked
things
potato.
really start to pick up.
Some chives.
You know how like you can always tell in a book when there's a turning point, like
Salt, pepper.
this is the turning point of Goblet of Fire. I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Are you done?
Hold on, let's talk about turning points. Do you think the whole series turning point was Frank dying at the beginning of this book?
That was a series turning
that was
point.
This is
Series,
no, that's what I said.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of the series.
But we literally said that.
I know, but I'm just thinking.
But we're just
turning points
reminding.
in general. And I love how you're like, that's the series turning point. I'm like, I know, I literally just said that.
Oh, did you?
I thought
like-
the serious turning point was when we saw Snuffles.
I thought you said serious. Like, I was like, oh, are you going back to book 3?
series. Turning
I agree.
point.
Yeah, that and then this
Yeah.
though I think is this book's turning point though.
Is this the middle book?
Technically, like a chapter
there's
in 5 is the middle.
No. I mean like book wise, because there's 1, 2, and 3. Then there's 4, and then it's 5, 6, 7.
Yeah.
So like we're right in the middle. We're at the rising action.
You could say
I
that.
know words, literary things.
I wish you guys could see her right now. It's out of control.
Did you have coffee? No, you didn't. You had a refresher.
She had a
I did
coffee
have
this
coffee.
morning.
My mama got me coffee.
Yeah, that's why.
This also has caffeine.
Let's go. Here we go. So, up in the Owlery after breakfast, the trio plans on sending a letter to Percy to ask him about Mr. Crouch because, you know, Weatherby would know. And this is what Sirius suggested. So, Hedwig, he's not the owl for the job. Or she, sorry, oops, is not the owl for the job because, you know, you can't have snowy owls going up to escaped convicts. So they
She mad.
She mad.
No, don't they send Hedwig for?
Oh wait, no, they do send
They do,
Hedwig.
but then like serious.
No, this is for Crouch. Sending the sending
I
letter
am
to
an
Percy.
idiot. Redo. Redo.
That's like
so
a
they
ski-doo.
do send Hedwig for this, because she's not going to be used to go to the convict.
Got it.
There we are. Here we go. So off to the kitchens, and they go and they give Dobby socks for his hard work in saving Harry in the second task. There's a lot of misspellings right there.
Dobby.
Dolby. Hobby.
Hobby. The house elves are pumped about seeing the trio in there. They're bowing and they're curtsying, and they start making them tea. And of course, Dobby is super happy about his present, and he starts crying.
Oh my god, that's so cute.
I know.
Is it?
And Ron, being Ron, is getting as much food as possible. And so he starts mentioning some eclairs. And as soon as he does this, there's like 4 house elves, and they're like bringing this silver platter of eclairs.
Hufflepuffs need to be in sync if you're going to be hitting the bells.
Not their
He's the
fault.
amateur over there.
Oi.
Been doing this a long time.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm just kidding. But Hermione's super annoyed by this because Ron had just eaten breakfast. Like, she's already like, you know,
Ron is me right now.
they're like relationship-y, but not in a
Yeah.
relationship. Like, you just ate. Plus, she probably doesn't want them doing like extra work. So, but Harry has the great idea to send some food to Sirius.
Seriously?
And then they were delighted to bring some extra food. So at this point, Hermione asks about where Winky is, and this is like so sad to me. So she's over by the fire, and Dobby suddenly changes. Like, he goes from, like, super happy, really excited to see them. He's got socks. Life is great.
I got socks.
And now we're talking about Winky, right? So he got really quiet and sad. And it says, quote, Harry looked over at the fireplace, too. Winky was sitting in the same stool as last time, but she had allowed herself to become so filthy that she was not immediately distinguishable from the smoke-blackened brick behind her. Her clothes were ragged and unwashed. She was clutching a bottle of butterbeer and swaying slightly on her stool, staring into the fire. As they watched her, she gave an enormous hiccup. She's hard to distinguish from the smoke-blackened brick.
Yeah, that's intense. That's a lot.
I mean, it's kind of like
It's months.
yeah. I mean, it's like
months.
a correlation with like that and like how when you get so depressed you can't like wash your
You
hair.
literally
like, I watched
can't
this
do
one
anything.
Thing. This girl was like so depressed for months that she never like didn't do anything with her hair and she had a big huge mat in it. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those things like you're so depressed, you're so sad, you literally can't do anything. You know what I
don't
mean?
take
Like,
care of yourself,
like
yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
like washing, like going and taking a shower is like one of the hardest things you can do. You know, it's sad. It's very sad.
It's so sad. And Dobby informs them that Winky is drinking 6 bottles of butterbeer a day. We know how strong like butterbeer is for the house elves. So like it does a little bit for like a human, but it does a lot for a house elf.
Well, I mean, if you think
Yeah.
about like
Well, like people
Alcohol
who
in
don't
general,
drink a
yeah.
lot,
Like-
a little bit will make them tipsy. Whereas somebody who like has a glass of wine a day, it takes longer for them to feel it.
Even like size wise, if you
Correct, yeah.
you
right?
know-
Like Katie, one drink and
Yeah.
she's tipsy.
Well, like, both
me,
her-
that's not how it is.
well, like
Yeah.
her and Tiffany don't drink really ever. You know what I
Right.
mean? So not to say that I drink a lot. But like if I'm gonna have like say I
Well,
had
like, you
2
have a
beers,
glass of wine.
I wouldn't
Yeah.
feel it. Where Tiffany had 2 beers and she's gonna be like
Yeah.
feeling it, feeling this,
Feeling it.
Oh, Blink 182. Winky is desperate to go home. Not her home anymore, though. To Mr. Crouch, because she still thinks that he is her master. But technically, according to Dobby, Dumbledore is now her master. I don't know how that works, because is he paying her?
I don't think she took money. I don't think she would. I don't know.
So
don't
how
think
does
she
that
will.
exchange work then from... I wonder if Dumbledore was like, do you want me to like be your new master? And you know, she was like, so like whatever, yeah. And I wonder if that in itself is like a magical contract.
I think she just went with Dobby. I don't think.
But is he technically her master? Whereas like
a free
she
elf.
literally has to do what he said. But
No.
Dobby says that Dumbledore is Winky's master.
But I don't know if he means that like literally, because if he wanted to leave, he can, and Dumbledore's not going to say anything. You know what I mean?
I'm talking about just Winky.
I understand that. I think too, she could just go and leave because she's a free elf.
I think
It's
that
just a
it's
title.
the terminology
Yes.
that Winky decides to use, or like that's just what is used for her because she understands that, which
See,
is messed up.
My thought
In my
is
opinion.
that she feels like, so she's not like Dobby, right? She wants that master. She wants that life. That's what she wants. So I wonder if she just like was so desperate to still have something that's house elf to her. You know, she doesn't want to be free. So she said yes to Dumbledore. And that's
Yeah.
why. But he's not making her do things, which is why she can sit here and drink and
I
whatever.
don't think. I think she just went along like didn't say yes or no.
Just
Like I
went
think Dobby
along
was
with
like,
it.
you just have to come with me because you have nowhere else to go. That's how I viewed it. Like she's not even saying like she's just
so you
going
think
through
she's
the motions.
a free elf,
kinda.
but Dobby is just like, oh, Dumbledore's her master now.
And I think just for her, it's like, you know, she's there not doing anything at Hogwarts except drowning in her own sorrows.
I think that he's her master now. So just a little differing.
Yeah, I think both make sense. It just is how you portray it in your mind. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, we don't really know, so
Yeah. Yeah, we don't. But I don't think Dobby would use that term if it wasn't like You know,
I think they use that term as like, instead of like, I have a boss, like,
Yeah.
that's that's their boss, that's their master. That's just the language that they're using. Because they don't ever say like, oh, he's my boss.
but
like,
does Dobby call Dumbledore his master?
I think so.
I think he does.
I think in a couple chapters ago, he was calling him his master.
Can someone find that for me so I can know? Okay, so Harry opens up a can of worms after this. He asks Winky if she knows anything about Mr. Crouch because he has stopped coming to the tournament, and Winky basically loses it. She stands up, swaying on the spot, and this whole hiccup-filled speech about how she needs to take care of Mr. Crouch because he can't take care of himself. And then Hermione butts in and says that other people can do their own housework, and then Winky gets even more upset at this. And she goes into saying some interesting things, kind of like a Hagrid thing, if you will.
Kind of, yeah.
Quote, Master is, and I'm not going to hiccup every time, trusting Winky with the most important, the most secret. And then Harry's like, what? And she shakes her head very hard, spilling butterbeer down herself. And she's like, Winky keeps her master's secrets. And she's swaying big time now. And she's frowning at Harry, and her eyes are crossed. And she says, you is nosing, you is. Winky must not talk like that to Harry Potter. Dobby comes in, and he says, Harry Potter is brave and noble, and Harry Potter is not nosy. And Winky's like, he is nosing into my master's private secret. Winky is a good house elf. Winky keeps her silence. People trying to pry and poke. So,
I think you should have hiccuped.
I don't want to
a lot of hiccups.
That's a lot of hiccups.
He is nosing into my master's private and secret. That's what Jim Dale does. It's funny.
Oh, gosh. There's an article on Pottermore. It says why house elves are totally better than wizards. And it just goes into a couple of things like they don't need wands. They could perform like big time magic that wizards can't, going above and beyond. Basically just like Dobby stealing your hearts. And then there's a little bit about Winky. It says, Winky, on the other hand, has always behaved exactly as one would expect from a house elf. She was different and apologetic, willing to sit at the top box at the Quidditch World Cup, even with her fear of heights. She was distraught when she was let go from her position with the Crouch family and failed to adapt to her new position at Hogwarts, descending into despair and drink, and even when treated so badly, she refused ever to speak ill of her family. And I gotta say, like, that's a really good quality to have. Like, no matter what is thrown at you, you keep your word and you are loyal. And I really like that about Winky.
I think Winky's a Hufflepuff.
I think she's Puff.
Yeah.
I think a lot of house elves would be considered Hufflepuff because of their loyalty, you know?
Yeah. And I think we went into her profile before, correct? At the beginning of the book. Winky has a little profile on here. It says originally Mr. Crouch's house elf. Winky ends up working at Hogwarts after she is fired. It says her mother and grandmother also served the Crouch family. So, like, that in itself, too, is a huge blow if your family served, you know. And
then you're the one that gets fired.
Yeah. Skills are housework. Okay. But, so, that's just a little bit on little Winky there. So after this hiccup-filled speech, she passes out, and she slides right off her stool. And 6... Oh, I know what HE is.
House elf.
You forgot your abbreviations.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
I hate myself. So I was tired of writing house elves out, so I wrote HE. So anyway, 6 house elves come forward looking disgusted at her, mind you, and they cover her with a checked tablecloth. And it was almost like, to me, covering the body at a scene of a crime. You know, they're so embarrassed by her that they cover her.
Yeah.
And then they leave her. So it's literally this little house elf
Just
covered by a fireplace, and they just let her go. And they apologize for her behavior, and they ask Hermione not to judge them based on Winky's behavior. And then Hermione goes into a speech.
She's had it.
She said, "Oh, for heaven's sake," Hermione cried, "listen to me, all of you. You've got as much right just as much right as wizards to be unhappy. You've got the right to wages and holidays and proper clothes, and you don't have to do everything you're told. Look at Dobby. And Dobby is like, I'm out. He goes, Miss. Miss will please keep Dobby out of this. Dobby mumbled, looking scared. And the cheery smiles vanished from the faces of all the house elves around the kitchen, and they were suddenly looking at Hermione as though she were mad and dangerous. And so at that moment, other house elves show up. They give them their food, which was a large ham, a dozen cakes, and some fruit. And then they quickly kick the trio out of the kitchen. And Ron is mad. But, I mean, oh boy.
I mean, Hermione's not wrong.
No, but
My biggest thing is I just feel like you should, if you're going to talk about it, you should have the house elves' opinions because they're the lives you're changing. You know what I mean? Have them be sitting at the table having the conversation of what do you want? Because Dobby even goes before when he was talking about it. He's like...
he knows he's different.
Well, he even
know?
knows. He's like, well, Dumbledore offered me 10 galleons a week and that's too much. He goes, I just really want to work, but I know I also want to get paid for it.
Right, because he wants to buy
So he's
socks.
like, I don't want to get too much money. He's like, because I don't need it, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult thing. Like, just going, like, back and forth, and I don't know. You can't push people to do things. I'll just say that.
Right.
Okay.
True.
So Ron's really mad because he feels like they're not going to be able to go back, and they can't press Winky for more information. And Hermione's like, no, you're just mad because you can't get any more extra food.
I hear that. I'd be mad too.
And Harry is over the both of them arguing. So he takes the food to the owlery on his own to mail it, and Pig is too small to carry it all on his own. So two two Screech Owls help him out. And Harry's taking a moment, and I like this because he just like pauses and he's looking out the window and he's watching this like lumpy care package fly off into the distance. And it says, quote, Harry leaned on the windowsill, looking out on the grounds at the dark, rustling treetops of the Forbidden Forest and the rippling sails of the Durmstrang ship. An eagle owl flew through the coil of smoke rising from Hagrid's chimney. It soared toward the castle, around the owlery, and out of sight. Looking down, Harry saw Hagrid digging energetically in front of his cabin. And Harry wondered what he was doing. It looked as though he were making a new vegetable patch. As he watched, Madame Maxime emerged from the Beauxbatons' carriage and walked over to Hagrid. She appeared to be trying to engage him in conversation. Hagrid leaned upon his spade, but did not seem keen to prolong their talk because Madame Maxime returned to the carriage shortly afterward. I love him pausing and just appreciating the things. Mm-hmm. All the things.
All the things.
Do you think she was apologizing?
I think she's trying to.
Yeah,
Like,
I
trying to
agree.
get, his attention.
I like this moment because it's like Joe's way of telling us a lot of information in a moment where Harry's just taking a pause. Because, I mean, not like necessarily important information, but she's kind of like catching you up on some things or like foreshadowing some things that are happening.
Reminding you that this relationship is still
valid.
Right.
And like, yeah. And then also like telling you, oh, look, Hagrid is doing something. And then we're going to see that with the Nifflers. Like, that's actually what he's digging. He's like preparing for class. So that's kind of cool.
And I like that she uses the word energetically because that makes me feel like he's
so excited
he's
about
super
it.
excited about it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
too, with Madame Maxine, it comes up in the end of the chapter how he feels about her now.
Correct.
Yeah. We kind of hear a little bit of what might have happened here.
Yeah.
Also, there's that eagle owl. Doesn't Malfoy have an eagle owl?
He does.
You know
have
what?
an
I
eagle.
would Google it. I'm like, who
does.
has an eagle owl?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's Malfoy. I wonder what.
I wonder.
Oh, do you think he's talking to Rita?
Oh,
You see
yes.
it later on that he's talking to when he's talking into his hand. Is that
No,
in
but
this chapter?
do you think he's sending her mail?
Well, it didn't say there's
Probs.
anything in their hands.
Well, maybe it already delivered and it came back.
Or he could just be out for a little, I almost said a little swim, a little flapping of the wings.
Not swimming.
Soar. We're soaring. We're flying. I don't know the rest of the words.
Did Malfoy notice Karkaroff showing his dark mark?
Malfoy? I don't think so.
Okay. I was going to say maybe he wrote to his dad. But this part struck me as a little awkward. Harry stays and watches Hagrid until it's dark and he can't see him anymore.
But I think it's like one of those things, like it's like a mindless thing that you're just watching him, like
I guess.
You
So
know.
I was like, oh, he's watching
mind-
Hagrid.
Maybe his mind wandered.
Yeah.
It said, Harry watched Hagrid until the darkness was too much and the owls woke and took off into the night.
Those owls are woke.
Katie.
I wonder what was so too much about the darkness. I live in the darkness.
Oh my gosh. So
love
at,
the darkness.
at breakfast the next day, Ron and Hermione were back to being okay with each other, and the Gryffindors were not punished because of her. So Ron, I didn't add this in, Ron thought that maybe the house elves wouldn't make the Gryffindor food as good or at all.
as much.
Well-
because of them.
They did get punished because what's not there, Tiffany?
Sausage?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So instead of sausage, they had bacon, eggs, and kippers, and they were as good as usual. And I was like, what's a kipper?
I think I know, but tell me.
Click that link, babe. It's a fish.
I
That's what I
call
thought.
bacon and eggs bags.
It's a type
That is
of
a popular
smoked
thing.
herring.
Sorry, guys, not a fan.
I like some smoked salmon with some cream cheese and some capers. Delicious.
Enjoy some
No
capers.
thanks.
It's so good.
Anyways, it's just like a small. It's described as oily,
Blah.
and it's usually split into a butterfly fashion from head.
I
From
feel like
tail
you're
to head
describing me.
along the dorsal ridge, gut and salted or pickled, cold smoked over smoldering wood chips.
See, then it's
Typically
cooked
oat.
if it's smoked.
Pickled
So,
kippers.
I haven't had kippers. I'm not into it. Eddie apparently thinks
Not
they
about
are
it.
delicious from our Discord chat.
He is from the UK. It makes
Not
sense.
judging.
You are in the
Minority.
minority of like us or Eddie or other people
Or is
too.
it, do you
Let us
think
know.
it's not even popular over in the UK? Because I feel like it's always at breakfast things. Like whenever we were over there, like we did a couple breakfast buffet things, like always there.
Well, but like
Yeah.
if you think of like a full, at least I know in Ireland, like a full Irish, it's got the black and white pudding, and it's always there. But like people don't always like that's something that not everyone's gonna like.
Or like haggis.
yeah, but like with black and white pudding, it's on. Like if you're ordering a full Irish breakfast, it's going to be on the plate.
Yeah.
and I will eat both. I think I like the black one better though.
How many times have you brought up the pudding in this podcast? Black and white.
Total?
Are you obsessed?
A lot.
It's so good.
Okay. All right.
You have to admit that it was good.
What?
It wasn't. It
was
wasn't
okay.
bad. I thought it was.
And then
one's
one's better than the other.
Yeah.
And I just never remember which one I like, so then I eat both. And then I was like, oh, I remember I liked this one better.
Honestly, I think it's more of a mindset thing for me.
Yeah.
They really didn't taste bad,
Yeah.
but in my head, I was like, just like that.
That's
Like
like, when I ate
haggis.
cow tongue.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
haggis.
yeah.
I mean,
Freaked
haggis
out.
actually wasn't bad. It's just a mind game. Tasted like meatloaf.
Yep.
I swear to God. Look at me. I am like one of probably the pickiest eaters you know. Yeah, that's true. It tasted like meatloaf.
How was that smoked salmon?
It wasn't cooked. It wasn't cooked.
It was. It's smoked.
So I have a question. Back to Harry Potter. Can we, real quick? Is it okay?
Yeah. What's up?
Are you reining us in now?
No, so we're talking about elves, and Hagrid's got a little issue with the
Tissue.
I
yeah
was gonna
with
say,
Maxine
does he
and
eat
being the giant's blood, right? Isn't that sort of the issue?
Well, he's half giant. He said to her basically like, "You're half giant too, right?"
Right.
not ready.
So-
I have big bones.
It seems like there's like an identity, situation, like crisis thing for some of like an elf, and then whether you have, giant's blood and stuff like that. I don't know. Just thought it was interesting. Also, do the elves, like, why are they in service? What's the whole backstory on that?
Just
Do we know?
history.
I think
Good
that's
question.
just I think it's just that they were like born into it many moons ago.
Wasn't there
and
a great
nothing's
war
ever
though
changed.
between them?
With goblins?
How did slavery start?
It was probably
Yeah.
It just started, and they were a minority, and they didn't feel like they had a voice, and they just went with it.
I feel like it was like wizards being like, "No, you're gonna do.
You're
this."
below us.
Probably
yeah.
pretty harsh.
Yeah, but like slavery ended because people stood up for themselves, whereas the elves, for whatever reason, are so brainwashed that they just don't.
But with slavery, like
just won't.
they snatched people away from their homes. Like they just
Right.
captured them and then brought them
know.
to America, and they're like, "You're lesser," and they're like, well,
But like, how did it start with the elves? It could have been similar. Like, you're
yeah.
lesser. I'm gonna,
yeah.
But
turn-
are they lesser? Because that article
No.
says.
Nobody is lesser as.
Well, I know. Yeah,
I
they
know.
have big time magic.
But
That's
yeah,
what I was
no,
kinda-
I mean, like, yeah, they
Wandless
don't need
magic.
wands.
Apparating where some people can't, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Especially when we think about the
Dobby?
Malfoy's basement.
Manor.
So yeah, they are absolutely 100% not lesser at all. At all. Where are we at in this podcast? Kippers.
Kippers.
So Hermione seems to be expecting something when the post comes that morning. She's looking eagerly for her daily profit because she is now subscribed, as you should, to this podcast. Then one,
Katie.
I don't think this is the good bell.
then
There's
switch
this
it.
one. There's one right here.
Thanks, guys.
Now
So-
I got 2 bells.
So one gray owl came down and landed in front of her plate. Then 4 barn owls. Then 1 brown owl and 1 tawny owl. For a
What was the
total,
Color?
Oh.
I was thinking another brown color. I think I was thinking tan.
a total of 7 owls, guys. Hey,
Nice
okay.
catch, nice catch.
So she's reading what was written in the letters and saying how ridiculous they were.
These letters are ridiculous.
Exactly. And they're not even handwriting this one, but they were letters cut out of the Daily Prophet. So
Like ransom notes.
like ransom note style, right? And it stated, "You are a wicked girl. Harry Potter deserves better. Go back where you came from, Muggle."
Eesh.
That's
I
not
like
very
how,
nice.
like, is that how it's written out in the book? But it just reminds me of whenever people write stuff about, like, trolls on the internet, and now it's, like, alternating letters.
Yes. That's actually, I copied and pasted it from the Kindle thing, and that's what it gave me.
Funny.
it makes me think, like, I wonder if they thought they were going to be, like, nowadays, if you like, if anything's, like, written and typed, like, you can figure it out, like,
There's
They're
a
super-
handwriting analysis. Yeah. So,
So,
I
like,
wonder if
this-
there's a spell, like Revelio,
To
find
out
who it
who
is.
the author
Yeah.
of the letter is. Yeah. Good point, Sarah. So then another came in and it says, "Harry Potter can do much better than the likes of you. You deserve to be boiled in frog spawn."
That's so mean.
Okay, but this is just like people today who think they
Yeah.
can do anything behind a computer screen and have no
Preach.
consequences.
Preach. And you can't.
Well, and, like, people, like, in America,
Is this
yes,
magical
you have-
Twitter?
Yes.
You have
Really?
freedom of speech, but you don't have freedom of consequences from that speech, you know?
Right.
I'm just saying, like Taylor's song, say it in the street, that's a knockout. But you say it in a tweet, that's a cop-out.
But like, here's my thing though. I am a firm believer in karma.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave it at that. So, take that with what you will. So, unfortunately for her, the last one had a yellowish green liquid smelling strongly of petrol, which is gas, and it went all over her hands and erupted into yellow boils. And I said, people suck.
Like, that's, like, dangerous. Like, remember back in the day when people were sending anthrax through the mail? Like, that's some terrorist. I'm sorry.
It has been a while, man.
It's been a long
It's
time.
been a really long time.
I want that boinged, whoever's editing this.
But, like, truly, like, what kind of a human being do you have to be to send
Really
first of all,
terrible.
hate mail or something that can hurt, literally physically
Yeah,
hurt
it's
someone?
like that reminds me of like the anthrax scares and stuff, like
I
getting
literally just said that.
Oh.
Welcome.
That's why I said
Got
the
it.
S word.
stuff. Yeah, got it.
But, like, that's
Swish.
horrible.
Yes, Eddie, to a child as well.
Yes.
I mean,
You
nobody,
know,
but
you
good God.
know that, like, that's not.
Well, first
an
of all,
adult.
people don't like the fact that, like, Victor Crumb is all about her. And then they're like, oh, it's Harry Potter now, too. Like, these two famous-ish guys, like, and then there's this plain girl they're talking about because a lot of people are like, I'm so much prettier than her. But, Pansy, no, you're not.
Whoa, that got real.
Do you know what Pansy looks like?
Pug-faced.
You know,
Pug-faced Parkinson.
Regardless of her look, she's ugly on the inside.
Yeah, like, don't be mean, people.
The way you said that just like made me laugh.
Ugly on the inside.
Ugly on the inside.
Quote, undiluted boobotuber pus, said Ron. And I can see him. Picture this. Picking up the envelope and gingerly sniffing it.
He's not dumb.
Undiluted boobotuber pus.
Like, I need you to say it.
I said, okay, Ron, when did you become the big old magical plant enthusiast? So Hermione's like, ouch. And tears start welling in her eyes as she started to rub the pus off her hands with a napkin, but her fingers were now so thickly covered in painful sores that it looked as though she were wearing a pair of thick, knobby gloves.
Oh.
Knobbly.
It's so freaking sad.
So she heads off to the hospital wing, and Ron reads one of her letters. I read in Witch Weekly about how you are playing Harry Potter false, and that boy has had enough hardship, and I will be sending you a curse by next post as soon as I can find a big enough envelope. Ron says, blimey, she better watch out for herself.
Let me also say this. If you don't want to get caught, especially nowadays, doing horrible things, don't put it in writing.
Right.
Also, if you are in a situation where you're like, this seems a little fishy, put it in writing so you have proof. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
Also, don't be mean.
dumb.
Just don't do
Yeah.
horrible things.
Hashtag
No, but
be
like
a
if you're
good
in a
person.
situation like, say you and your boss are having issues, put everything in writing so you have it in writing. You have proof. You also
In the
like, yeah,
pudding.
you're gonna get caught. Like, don't be mean, people. I don't get it. I don't. Why are you sending a child some hate mail? You're nasty. I don't like it.
Gross and nasty.
Don't like it.
That's what we say about Alana when she's the best. Get gross. All right, it's green.
Okay.
Go
so,
green.
Hermione, because she went off to the yes. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were saying something to me. Understand. Got it. So Hermione went to the hospital wing, and she did not turn up for herbology. And Pansy calls after Harry and asks if he's split up with his girlfriend, which, like, first of all, none of your business. And second of all, you're the one spreading these lies with Draco to Rita. Get out of here.
Yeah, bye.
Get out of here.
She's not a nice human.
No, she's not. She gives Slytherin's a bad name. So Harry and Ron head to Care of Magical Creatures after herbology.
Hold on. Think of how you could put that in the song. She gives Slytherins a bad name. Do you know the song?
What song?
Really?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't-
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. But what's the actual lyrics?
I don't know. You give love a bad name.
Oh, that song. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
I
give
like it.
Slytherins a bad name.
So Hagrid had said last lesson that they were finished with unicorns. And when they arrive, there are new crates there. And Harry's like, oh no. Is that more Scroots?
More screwed.
But it is the cutest animal in the entire wizarding
Say it like
world.
Florence.
The Nifflas.
The nipples are back.
We're gonna catch them.
Gotta catch 'em all.
Nifflers. So they are black, fluffy creatures with long snouts, and their front paws were curiously flat like spades and were blinking up at the class, looking politely puzzled at all of the attention because they're adorable.
I can just picture this. Oh my god.
I know. It's
so
the way that
cute.
she wrote it. It just like gives you a really great visual of them just like looking up at everybody, just kind of like tilting their heads, like, "Why are you interested in me?" So cute.
Got some gold? Got some shiny stuff?
Nifflers.
You mostly find Nifflers down in mines because they like sparkly stuff. So they're after all of the gems and gold. They are useful treasure detectors. And as if on cue, one of them tries to bite Pansy Parkinson's watch off, which is hilarious. The patch of dirt that Harry had been watching Hagrid dig last night was for today's lesson because Hagrid had filled it with gold coins. So each person was going to get a Niffler. And whoever's Niffler digs up the most gold would win a prize. So the Nifflers have a little...
Do you think that
Pottermore
they
thing.
are the ones that like, I like gold?
What if in the Fantastic Beasts, the next movie, the Niffler learns how to talk? I like go. The chat, someone, yes, Benny, of course.
So there's an extract from Fantastic Beasts on Pottermore about them. It says the Niffler is a British beast, fluffy, black, and long-snouted. This burrowing creature has a predilection for anything glittery. Nifflers are often kept by goblins to burrow deep into the earth for treasure. Though the Niffler is gentle and even affectionate, it can be destructive to belongings and should never be kept in a house.
Guys,
Tell that to Newt.
this is 1,000% me. I am a Niffler. I like shiny things and I'm destructive.
I could say that I'm pretty similar because
Yeah, I destroy houses.
my house is destroyed. I don't understand what happens some days. Nifflers live in layers up to 20 feet below the surface and produce 6 to 8 young in a litter.
Oh, little Nifflers.
Baby Nifflers are the cutest. So there's also another Pottermore article, if it will let me. There we go. They have a little, not like a fact file, kind of, I guess. But there's this really cute little picture of the one from Fantastic Beasts with the purse, the red purse. And they have their little fact file that just says can be destructive, should not be kept domestically. Basically the same thing that I was saying. But there's a really cute illustration of them in this like dirt getting all the gold. I don't know. It's just really cute. We'll post it so that you can see.
How many things can they keep in their pouch?
Oh my God,
ton.
a lot.
Think of like
That's a good
Hermione's
question,
little
though.
beaded bag. It's
That's what I'm saying.
It's
infinitely
like magically just
delicious.
big as
What do you
They
think a
had
Niffler would
chocolate
taste
gold
like?
Oh, the poor thing.
Metallic.
That is terrible.
So Harry picks his Niffler, and I'm guessing that the way that like they keep track of it is because like the Niffler knows to come back to them and give them the gold. So like their Niffler goes in and brings them back the gold, and they like make a pile.
Say it adorably. Niffler.
Niffler.
It's just cute.
Niffler. I don't know why I said that.
This is the cutest little image, though. It says it put its long snout in Harry's ear and sniffed enthusiastically. It was really quite cuddly.
Have you ever had an animal sniff in your ear?
Yes.
It's like the cutest thing.
It really is, and it just like makes you laugh because it tickles. I like it.
If it hasn't
Kitties.
happened to you, find an animal, stick their nose in your ear. It's great.
But make sure it's like an animal that's not going to eat you. Like,
Right,
you know,
like a
an
cat.
alligator,
A cat would be good.
crocodile, or like a bear.
Yeah. Good advice, Sarah. Good
Yeah.
advice.
It was easily the most fun they had ever had in care of magical creatures. The Nifflers dived in and out of the patch of earth as though it were water, each scurrying back to the student who had released it and spitting gold into their hands. Ron's was particularly efficient, and it had soon filled his lap with coins. Ron asks Hagrid if you can buy Nifflers as pets, but Hagrid is like, I don't think your mom would be pretty happy because they wreck houses. And then Hermione shows up and looks absolutely miserable, and her hands are bandaged heavily. Pansy Parkinson was watching her beatily. Get a life.
I think that like she's her Draco, where they're jelly fellies. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like she's jealous that Hermione's smarter than her and she's cuter than her.
friends
And
with
she's
Harry
just a better
Potter.
human.
She gets attention because
Gross.
she's friends with Harry Potter. Blah,
And
blah,
she's
blah, blah,
smart.
blah.
And she's pretty. And she's just Hermione Granger, the queen.
And she's dating Victor Crumb.
And Harry. Thruple.
For life.
Hagrid says it's time to count the coins and tells Goyle not to bother stealing any because it's leprechaun gold and it vanishes after a few hours. Important
Hint.
piece of information.
Super important.
So Ron's Niffler won, and his prize was an enormous slab of Honeyduke's chocolate.
Do you think it's like as big as it was in a
Oh,
Harry
yeah.
Potter musical?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
The entire budget was spent on that chocolate bar.
The trio talks with Hagrid after class, and he asks what Hermione has done to her hands, and she tells him all about the hate mail. And this makes me feel so bad because then Hagrid says that he got hate mail too after Rita's article about his
Yep.
mom.
She's a life ruiner.
Honestly.
Well,
Don't worry, said Hagrid gently. I got some of those letters and all after Rita wrote about me mum. You're a monster and you should be put down. Yet your mother killed innocent people, and if you had any decency, you'd jump in a lake.
That's so horrendous. Because
That's-
you know what
yeah.
happens in real life where people are
I
like, you should
know.
just go die.
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? That is so messed up.
You have no
It really
idea
is.
who that person is on the other end that you're writing to. You don't know like their
Like,
mental
you
state.
only
That could
know-
there was
Correct,
this-
correct.
There was this
Damage
one guy
someone.
that went around and like I don't know if it was a guy or girl. They went around and talked to people that left horrible comments on their like social media, and they're like, "Why'd you like?" He called them out, found them, and called them, and like asked them like why they did it, and like had a whole conversation with the people. Blah 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 blah.
What was
It
the reasoning?
fascinating. A lot of I think the person was gay, so they were like homophobic people, and so they were like, "Well, why'd you do it?" And they're like, "You don't even know me. Why would you say this stuff?" And he was super nice about it. He wasn't like yelling at them. He just was like, "I want to have a conversation. Like, why would you write something like that?" So.
I don't
Take your
don't
homophobia
understand.
elsewhere.
But you know what?
Take your hate out.
I'm glad I don't understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good point too.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to understand that.
I know.
Yeah.
So Hermione is shocked, and Hagrid just says that like they're nutters. Don't open any more letters if you get them. It's not worth it.
Look at how much Hagrid has grown since he
I
just
know.
had his he broke
Like
down.
he was low,
and
Yeah.
they brought him up and made.
and
did
now
a
he's
complete
trying to
180.
console
Well, like,
Hermione about it.
Yeah.
Think about like at the beginning of this podcast, so when I was reading reviews, and obviously I know that like this is not tooting my own horn. Like I'm the funny one. But like I'm the one that like I always tell people I'm the one that like is a bit of a wild card. So like if you aren't gonna like someone, it's probably gonna be me on the podcast. And at the beginning I was like, oh my god, like people hate me. I need to stop doing all of these things. And I was like, no, I wouldn't be as funny because like I'm
Here's
me.
the
You're the
thing.
favorite.
Like I don't
though.
even care.
Here's
Like now I don't care anymore. You don't like me. Bye.
Like,
Here's
Like,
the
don't
thing with
care.
negativity, though, is like more people will take time out of their day to be negative than to be positive.
So much energy wasted.
Yeah.
Yes. So, like-
put your energy into something productive, something
Yeah.
that's
Right.
gonna like
Do
spur
good.
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
in the
Like
world.
for Hagrid and Hermione, like who is sending them positive letters? Nobody. Who writes? Like there are people, thankfully, and like thank you to everyone that's done this, who have written amazingly positive reviews about our podcast.
Yeah.
Or
But I
letters
feel
or
like
whatever they
people
send us.
don't
Yeah.
always think to go and write a positive
Yeah.
review. Like if you go and eat at a restaurant and you're on Yelp or something and you have a bad experience, the first thing you want to do is tell people about it. So you
Right.
go and you write a negative review.
Yeah.
You go and write a negative review about a podcast you listen to. You go and send, I mean, not everybody does this, but send letters and say how much you dislike this article or whatever. But how many people take time out of their day to go and say, wow, I had a great experience with this podcast.
Makes a
Wow, I had a
huge
great
difference,
experience with this
too.
restaurant.
well, like, and think about just telling
And
someone.
that's what kind of sucks about the internet, though. Just to like,
Well, like-
in like the whole rating system and everything, it's like,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, we have an overall like positive review.
Correct,
And
yeah.
like a lot of restaurants like do, thankfully, because there are a lot of people that put out the positivity. But the fact that one person's review can like knock down so much is just. And like sometimes the people who write a negative review for a restaurant or something, it was like a total fluke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and it's like a lot of times when you're reading the negative review, it's like something you already might think of yourself. So you're thinking
And you're-
like, you know,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I don't know anything about Harry Potter. Then someone comes out and be like, Sarah doesn't know anything. Like, so then I'm sitting there going like, oh my gosh, like people really know that I don't know as much. Like I shouldn't be allowed to be here. But now I'm just like, you're right. I'm like, and I'm learning. Like I've read the books. I'm
Yeah.
like not nearly as much as everyone else on this podcast. I'm like, but that's what makes me fun. I crack jokes. That's my personality.
Yeah.
Yes,
You're
Katie.
essential.
Two things. One, some people will put like a 1-star review and be like, they were out of napkins. It sucked. Like, get over yourself.
Honestly.
Like, that's not worth a 1-star
they
review.
say?
Yeah.
You were out of
Like, they were out of
napkins.
napkins or something. Like, something
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
And then two, I probably talked about this on the podcast before, but like, I want to challenge everybody who's listening. Like, today, like, go out. Say you see someone walking on the street, you think their hair is killer, tell them. Like, don't just
Yeah.
think about
Yeah.
it because you don't even know. They could be having the worst day, or they could just be down on themselves a day, or they could be fine, but that'll
I've
just
done
like,
that
lift them up.
before, and like
Yeah.
you just see the smile on their face, like, "Oh wow, thanks." That caught me off
'Cause, like,
guard.
Some lady at CVS yesterday said, "Oh, cute dress," and I was like,
Right?
Well, like, and
right?
Has it ever happened to you where someone gives you a compliment and you get mad? No.
No.
They're going to be like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I will say, like, I'm horrible at taking compliments. So people are like,
So
oh,
am I.
you don't
You're
say.
like-
And I'm like, thanks. Like, I'm not, but. Like, I don't think I'm as funny as people think I am. Some people are like, you're hilarious. I'm like, I'm not funny. Half the time my jokes are like just me being a horrible human. And I'm not joking, but people think
I'm sorry,
I am.
you're not a horrible human. You're a garbage.
I'm a garbage human being.
and I am trash, and
No,
we go
yeah.
together.
I like that.
such a
message,
long
though, Katie.
tangent.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
It
today,
doesn't
the
take
day
a lot
that you're
of effort.
listening to this, go out.
Just
Go
be, just
be
be
do.
stinking nice, man.
Yeah.
That's all just be nice.
It takes like literally saying, "Hey, I really like your dress," will change someone's day,
Yeah.
It really will.
and it'll make you feel good.
It made me feel
Or
great.
like if you like their kicks, their shoes is what I meant. Not kicks. I'm not a cool kid. Or their hair, you know? It just takes a second. Just be nice. Small,
agree.
small acts of kindness make the difference.
They do. Okay,
Agreed.
is that our soapbox for today?
Yeah.
Be
Yeah,
stinking nice.
don't be mean. Because you know it's going to come back to bite you.
It will. It will, you guys.
Like whatever you put out in the universe, you're going to get back.
Correct.
So if you want good, positive things, go be do
Go be
positive
do.
things.
Go be do.
Go be
Go be
do.
do. Go be do. That
Go
should be the
be
title
do.
of this episode. Go be do.
Go be do.
Go be do.
Go be do. Tiffany made fun
And then
of me.
parentheses, nice.
So Ron is sulky after the lesson, and like they don't understand why. But then he asks Harry, like, "Why didn't you tell me about the gold?" And Harry isn't really sure what he's talking about at first, and he's like, "What?"
This is such an awkward moment.
It really is.
It's like sad a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
it's like one of those hard topics because you like,
It is, yeah.
It is.
But I mean,
yeah.
friends got to talk about difficult things. Let's go, Meg.
yeah. So
People should talk about their feelings.
yeah. And Harry's not really sure what he's talking about. And then Ron is like, the gold at the Quidditch World Cup for the Omnioculars. And Harry's like, oh, I didn't notice that it had gone. I was more worried about my wand being missing, which is valid for sure. And then Ron just says, must be nice
Yeah.
to have so much money you didn't notice a pocket full of galleons goes missing.
But
Should he have said this though? Thinking these things
they're
is
kids.
something.
I think that
Yeah,
he
you're
has
right.
kind of had this on his mind, though, more than like I feel like it's
Like, in
hitting
this
him
book,
more.
yes.
It's hitting him more this book than
Okay.
it has in the past.
Yeah.
And it's something that is just like always in the forefront of his mind that he's poor.
he has less. Yeah.
Like I think especially like the Yule Ball. You know, like
he's so rich in other
But
ways.
like, think about,
though.
did you really know
I
until
know.
you were older? Like, I didn't know that we didn't
What
have a
that
crazy ton
meant.
of money when we were kids. Like, because we talked about like,
I
going,
think I
my
was in like
parents, we would
fifth
go
or
do
sixth
things,
grade, and
but,
I was like, oh, we don't really have a whole lot.
we were older. Like when I was a kid, like I didn't realize that, you know,
well because like when you're a
I
kid,
didn't
you
get to
just-
do a lot of things that like I'm the youngest of four, so I had kids on my street that were only kids that they went to camp every year, and I wanted to go. My parents couldn't afford it. You know what I mean?
I also
Camp
wonder
is
if, like,
expensive.
I feel like Percy would have things to say about this. So I wonder if Ron learned a little bit more at a younger age about it, and it's been stewing with him for much longer than
And he sees
normal
Fred and George.
because of Percy.
Yeah.
You know, because I feel like Fred and George wouldn't say anything,
No, but he
Because I don't
sees
think they-
them
but I feel like
getting more.
Percy would be the person to
that wants,
to like
is
complain about it. Yeah,
it's, like,
yeah.
in a negative way, being like, "Ugh, we have no money." You know what
Right.
mean?
I
Like,
wish mom and dad would have done blah 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 blah.
they
to
could have
more
done
money.
like
more.
because we even see later on he's like, had dad not gone the route
That's
he
exactly
did,
what I was thinking
you know,
of.
he could have had a better job and he could have done that and all that stuff.
But his love for muggles and whatever, blah blah
But
blah.
in defense of Harry, though, there are times where I forget, like, I've got $20 somewhere, and then it's a very nice surprise. You put your hand in a jacket you haven't worn, and you're
Yeah.
like,
Best
there's
kind of
money.
prize.
Right. And like
it's a surprise.
I think that, you know, that's probably more so like what Harry was getting
Yeah.
at.
It's
Yeah.
his. It's,
But
it's,
but
his
in
is
Ron's
innocent.
mind, it's like, oh wow, well that must be nice.
Yeah, like, I want that kind of problem. You
But
know what I mean?
honestly-
Like, almost like a first world problem. Like,
Harry never had to worry about money, and what I mean by that is that, like, Dursley's never
like the
gave
Dursleys
him
aren't
anything
poor.
to do, but he never had anything to do with his money. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Well, like, if
so
you-
he doesn't think about it.
Harry is not used to having money.
yeah.
Is
And I don't
what
think
I'm
like,
getting. This is what
yeah,
you're saying,
and I don't
right?
think
So-
Ron realizes that. Like, Ron knows him as a guy that has all of this money because his parents are dead and it was sitting in a vault. I'm assuming gaining interest, and like they already had money. Like James had money from his parents. Like, so
Yeah.
he's coming into this being like, this is Harry Potter. He's already famous. He's got all of this money. But Harry's going into this being like, I'm a freaking wizard. Like, what? Like, you know, I'm going to be able to be comfortable, but he's not used to having new things. He's not
He's-
used to being able to provide for himself at all. because-
Money's just never been a thought in his head.
Yeah.
Whether
Right.
he
Like, he
didn't
didn't
have
have
it when he
anything.
didn't have it, and now that he
Yeah.
has it, it's still
Yeah.
not a thought.
Yeah.
And he was just like, because he's not used to it, but he had this pocket full of gold and like saw these really awesome things at the World Cup. He was like, you know what? I want to get these for me and my friends. And it was really just like, it was an act of kindness on his part. I don't think he really ever even cared about like the Christmas present or whatever. Like that's not really what it was about. And it's just,
I know I do that with my friends. I'll my cousin will be like, oh, I don't have any money. I'm like, well, I'll buy you dinner. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like it's a give and take in a relationship, any relationship really. Like,
You and I do coffee back and forth all the time.
like you get it once. I'm like, by the end of the day, like, or the years, like whatever, like it evened out. Am I going to remember? Like, I know there are people in my life that are like, you owe me. You ate one chicken nugget and they'll Venmo me. They've not done this, but this has not actually happened.
It was me. It was my chicken nugget.
They'll be like, you owe me 50 cents for that nugget you ate. Like, I'm not that type of person. Like, you ate a nugget, I don't care, kind of thing.
Right.
You know what
10
I mean?
pieces of a chicken nugget.
Yeah, 10 pieces of a nugget.
Of a nugget.
I do have a friend though, or a cousin that she's like once in a while she goes, I'll Venmo request $1 for my friends for a friendship fee.
Oh,
Just because she thinks she's being funny. It's
God.
Colette who does that. And she goes, sometimes they pay it.
I love Colette. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
that's funny.
So Ron here is muttering that he didn't know Leprechaun Gold vanished, and he really had thought that he paid Harry back for those omnioculars. So he just kind of was like bummed about it.
Well, and I think too he's probably feeling a little foolish, you know?
Yeah, like,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
shoot, of course it's going to vanish. Why would they have dumped all of that money in the crowd and like it would be real? You know what I mean?
And
So now
how
he's-
often are Wizarding families going to be talking about Leprechaun Gold anyway? You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
So it doesn't surprise me that like he's
And
from a wizard family. Like he
Is
doesn't
that how
really know about this.
Bagman paid the twins, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So then Ron tells Harry, well, you shouldn't have gotten me that Chudley Cannon's hat for Christmas because I never paid you back for those. And Harry's just like, Ron, just forget it. Like, it's not a big deal. And Ron is like, oh, I hate being poor. And Harry and Hermione, like, probably feel super, super awkward in this moment. And they're, you know, they don't really know what to say. And Ron says, it's rubbish. I don't blame Fred and George for trying to make some extra money. Wish I could. Wish I had a Niffler. And now we know that's why he asked Hagrid if you could have them as pets.
I feel like this way now with like student loans and like being
Honestly.
Girl.
Ugh. I wish I could win a lottery.
Y'all, the Swish hang would look a whole lot different if I didn't have any student loans. I'm telling you that much. Here's my thing, though. I don't necessarily think Fred and George are doing what they're doing to make extra money. I
Yeah.
think they're doing it because they love it.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's
I
one of those
agree.
things like when we
That's how Ron
It's-
is. Per-
going back to the
It's
podcast, like if this never made money, we were like, whatever. We're
Right.
doing this because we like it. We like talking about Harry Potter. Like
Yeah.
if all the money went away tomorrow, we still would sit here and talk about Harry Potter. You know what I mean?
100%.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And like honestly, anything that we get like just goes
It
back
goes
into
back
the
into
pot.
it.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, no, and I think that that's exactly how Fred and George are with it too.
Yeah, and I honestly think that makes you more successful when you do things like that. You're not doing it for the money. You're doing it because you truly love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Preach.
Yep. Hermione tries to
Let me
brighten
straighten my tie.
A lot of soapboxes this up.
I know. Hermione tries to brighten him up by saying, well, now they know what to get him for Christmas and that it could be worse. His fingers could be full of pus.
Aw.
And I understand Ron in that moment. Not that have ever been in his specific situation, but like we were just saying, you know, like there are burdens in everybody's life that people don't talk about, whether they're financial or not. And like student loans are an issue. So like we all feel it. We all, you know, all of us sitting at this table feel it, have it, know it, struggle with it. But
It almost makes me not want to go back to school because I already have so many loans.
Honestly,
and I have
that's why
nothing
my
to show
master's
for it.
is like hanging. Like half is done.
yeah,
I need, well, more than half. I need like 2 classes.
I know.
and I'm
I've been
done.
thinking, but yeah,
It's expensive.
Plus, I have a kid, and it's like, oof.
I know. Yeah, I know.
Anyways,
America.
yeah.
So this leads to her bursting out about Rita and how much she hates her. I will get her back for this if it's the last thing I do. And let me tell you, when Hermione says something like that,
Oh.
Hermione does it.
It
It's-
reminds me
it's-
of, I'll get you, my pretty.
It's a little bit of her Slytherin side coming out.
I agree.
Yeah, she is so Slytherin.
Like-
I have to say,
Would not
the
want to get on
more-
her bad side.
She is so much like of
she's-
all the house. Well,
because she's very smart. She's loyal.
she is, but she exhibits more from the other houses.
I would agree.
Okay.
But the thing with her is not only is she the type of person to like fight for what she wants? But she's got the smarts to back it up, so that's freaking terrifying.
Yes, these are all these lotions.
Yeah. No, the more that we break down Hermione, like as she's getting older,
Please don't break her down. We need to build her up.
Oh, Lord.
she just like she reminds me a lot of me. Like
You're so cool,
Oh my
Meg.
god, let's talk about Megan. Like Megan is like so Hermione.
Do you think she likes brioche buns?
And like,
No, definitely not.
does she
No.
like Taylor Swift? I
Yeah,
don't
for
know.
sure.
Like,
She
and she
probably
likes
would
cats,
really love Taylor
obviously,
Swift.
because she's and Megan are like the same person. Megan, Hermione. It's like the same name.
I'm just saying I used to feel like I didn't identify
Megan.
with her that much.
No, you do.
But I do. The more that we like talk about her, I'm like, no, like, yeah, I don't know
Hermione,
why I didn't
Hermione.
love Hermione more growing up reading these books
Well,
as I do now.
But growing up, but
changed.
Growing
Yeah.
up, I don't think I was necessarily
You weren't-
always like her.
you
But now
weren't-
I'm like,
You were
dang, Hermione is like, she is Emma Watson. And like Emma to me is just like, I love her because of the things that she does and
Yeah.
her feminism and her like it's just and that's Hermione and I'm just like yeah that's me. I love that.
But
It just-
honestly, even in the past couple of years, you've become more of you.
yeah.
But that's the thing when you're
And
growing
Katie,
Less
you're
annoying.
like
up, you're not even Katie anymore.
you.
Katie is like so different in the best ways.
Correct. You're really coming to your own,
Horrible
and
ways.
like other people are
guys.
seeing like you.
Yeah.
Thanks. You're welcome. It's all thanks to you guys.
We all
But I feel that way
We
with
put our
her.
glasses on, and we're able to see you for you.
Okay.
I see you for you.
Not your shades.
But-
just because you're the coolest. Puff.
Sarah and I even talked about it at our presentation. Actually, we talked about you a little bit.
We didn't talk about Megan. We didn't mention her. We took her little clip out.
No, we just
You didn't like that I did it in front of my Harry Potter wall?
No, we liked it.
It
No,
was awkwardly in a hotel room.
no, it was just you. You out of all of us have blossomed and changed and come into your own the most. You are a gigantic flower.
Thanks.
Just
That
wait until
smells
she
real
becomes
good.
a mom. Change
Seriously.
even more.
Seriously. Remember when I wanted to name my son that?
Seriously.
I wanted a son named Seriously and Massimo.
Okay.
Isn't that like a Target clothing brand?
Not
That's
anymore.
not, I don't think it's
gone.
pronounced it.
So hate mail kept arriving for Hermione over the next week, but she was ignoring it. However, the ones that you can't ignore are howlers, and she was even getting sent those, which is just
Can you imagine?
annoying. It's so bogus.
Do they only come in the Great Hall, or do you think they come in the dorms too?
I guess it depends on the time.
follows you,
probably.
doesn't it?
Yeah, just
And it explodes.
Yeah, but if you're thinking like a crazy person and sending a child a howler, you're gonna want to send it when they're gonna be around the most people.
Why didn't you go to like Dumbledore or McGean being like, can you at
you
least
stop
like
this
stop?
from
Like I
coming
don't
in?
even.
But honestly, why didn't they stop it on their own?
well.
But did they know? Like, do you know
Do
everything?
you
that's
know
happened in
that
your
they
school?
know that they know about the howlers?
You didn't do it right, but I applaud your effort.
It's whatever. I can't stand your face.
So Harry was also, on top of that, getting really sick of telling people that Hermione was not his girlfriend. And Harry tells
I would have
her-
been like, yeah, we're married. We've been married for 20 years. I know I'm only 14.
we have 5 kids. You just don't know.
Oh my god.
So Harry tells her that it's going to die down. But honestly, which I love, like I think that pep talk with Hagrid totally like brought her up even more. She really doesn't care, I think, and is just more focused on figuring out how on earth Rita knew what she knew to write. How is she listening into private conversations when she's supposed to be banned from Hogwarts grounds? She even asks Judy after Defense Against the Dark Arts if he had seen her under an invisibility cloak during the second task, because she is convinced that she was near her and Victor.
She's not wrong.
She's not wrong.
Hey.
Ron is the person that sometimes, like, I love him to death, but sometimes I really just want to smack him.
But think about it. He like gives her like he says things and she's like, you know what? You're not wrong.
I know.
You just gave me a clue.
You're
But
not
I
wrong,
just
you're
like
wrong.
this, Hermione, is there any point in telling you to drop this? And like I'm like, Hermione, no, Don't tell me to drop this. Why would I drop this? This is literally like important. Need to figure this out. What is going on?
You guys, there's so many hand motions happening with everybody today, and I can't handle it. I wish you could see.
I want to know how she heard me talking to Victor and how she found out about Hagrid's mom.
I want to know how she heard me talk about Victor. I want to know why she knows all the secrets. Can you tell me?
And
How does
Harry,
she know?
I'm just saying, cracks it right here. He cracks it.
Do it. He's a seer.
Maybe,
Like that excellent clue.
maybe she had you bugged.
Bugged.
But but really, moment of silence to appreciate how hilarious that is. Thank you. Yep, he had her bugged. I'm saying thank you for Harry. Not
I
me.
like that you're like moment of silence and you talked.
Whatever.
Moment of not silence for how awesome that is.
Moment of loud.
Get it? She's a bug.
Bugged? Bugged, said Ron blankly. What? Put fleas on her or
I
something?
love that.
And I just think that's funny because like he doesn't know that term because that's a muggle thing. You know what I mean? So Hermione goes on one of her Hogwarts a history rants again. Aren't you two ever going to read Hogwarts a history?
I'd
Nope.
read it, but she didn't read
What's
it.
the point? Said Ron. You know it by heart. We could just ask you.
Do you think he ever read it?
No.
No.
Wouldn't that be like a really cute when he's like older, like an anniversary present?
Like Hermione,
If
I
he's,
finally
like-
read it.
And he starts like memorized it and starts reading it to her. She would die.
Oh my gosh. So all the substitutes Muggles use for magic, electricity, computers, radar, they go haywire around Hogwarts because there's just too much magic in the air. No, Rita's using magic to eavesdrop. She must be. If I could just find out what it is, if it's illegal, I'll have her. Literally me.
I love
Literally me.
It is you. I can hear it.
If
so
it's
good.
illegal, I'll have her.
I mean,
It's awesome. It is illegal. So anyway,
All of them are not wrong right now.
they're not wrong.
they're wrong.
Ron's like, haven't we got enough to worry about without starting a vendetta against Rita Skeeter as well? I lost my spot. Oh, Hermione snaps that
That all through my section. What's HE?
Hermione snaps that she isn't asking for help and she'll do it on her own. Ron asks what's the betting that she comes back with a box of I Hate Rita Skeeter badges.
Can we make those?
Yes.
But we probably can't say Rita Skeeter.
I hate, and then a beetle.
We'll say RS. Wait, what does that mean again? I forgot.
Or you could say Rita. You should
I
spell it
hate
like REEETA. Like
All ton of E's. 3 H's.
She didn't ask for help, which Harry and Ron were super grateful for because their workload was getting crazy before the Easter holidays. Harry frankly marveled at the fact that Hermione could research magical methods of eavesdropping as well as everything else they had to do.
Magical method.
And Harry kept sending regular food packages over to Sirius. After last summer, he had not forgotten what it felt like to be continually hungry.
Dude,
I hate the Dursleys.
I know.
They're dirt.
He enclosed notes to Sirius every time he sent a package telling him that nothing out of the ordinary had happened and they were still just waiting for an answer from Percy. Yes.
So the HEs are letting them back into the kitchens, or at least Harry.
Yeah.
Hermione is probably not welcome.
Yeah. Or they're taking it from the table, maybe? I don't know. They could be doing that.
I think Harry would waltz back into the kitchen, and
I
he
think-
would at least ask Dobby or
I
something.
think
Yeah.
that both Harry and Ron are welcome.
I
Correct.
agree.
I
Welcome
think
to the
I
Hogwarts
think
kitchen.
they would
Welcome,
let her.
welcome.
Shut it. I think they would let Hermione in, but they would be like, "You can have some tea."
You can sit in the corner and not talk to
No eclairs for you.
You can sit with Winky.
Go sit with Winky. Yeah.
You can't sit with us.
We're the mean girls.
She did not wear pink.
The
on
mean house
Wednesday.
elves.
We're the mean elves.
The mean house elves. We wear pink on Wednesdays.
Mean AGs.
Mean HEs.
Meaning cheese.
Mean HEs. Meaning cheese. I like cheese.
Hedwig did not return until the end of the Easter holidays. Do you think they have like a week off in the spring? I feel
I
like
think
they
they
probably
do.
get a week off. I wonder if
just
people
blew
can go
through it.
home.
I think you can.
Yeah.
I would think that you could.
Oh, I think
I think I can.
Percy's letter came in a package of Easter eggs.
Ooh, are they magical Easter
So wait,
eggs?
it did not take her that long to get there. Is she just chilling? Or is he just like refusing to write them back?
Maybe
And
Percy
she's-
just
both.
took a long time to respond.
Because he's so busy.
What? Yeah.
So busy
But
as
legit.
Weatherby.
So is he like, yo, Hermione? Nope, Hedwig.
oh, Hermione.
Hermione. Or he's like,
Maybe
Is
Hedwig
that
just
what he does
refused
in
to
his,
leave.
like alone time?
I feel like she would peck him and peck him and peck him, but maybe he was like, listen, it's going to take me a little bit to do this. Why don't you go out, hunt some mice,
Come
see
back.
you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, I'm about to have another soapbox. I'm just telling you.
Oh, we've been waiting for this all book.
Percy's
Quite
letter came in a package of Easter eggs that Mrs. Weasley had sent, and Harry and Ron's eggs were the size of dragon eggs, full of homemade toffee. Hermione's was smaller than a chicken egg. So what, like a quail egg?
Those are tiny.
Quail eggs are enormous.
No, they're not. They're
Oh wait,
small.
I'm thinking of an ostrich.
Like, quail eggs are like this big. Quail eggs are enormous.
I'm like, that makes no sense with what Megan was just saying.
I am an egg connoisseur.
Hermione is like actually sad and asks Ron if his mom reads.
Is mom right?
His mom reads Witch Weekly, and he says yes, she does for recipes. And then Hermione looked sadly at her tiny egg.
It's like, I just look at it for the pictures.
Yeah,
Or no, I read it for the articles. oh, gosh.
Ooh, that's a good one.
this makes me mad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing. Yes.
Legitimately makes me mad.
It's not okay. She should have known better as a grown woman. And if she
Well,
wanted to inquire, she could inquire. But honestly, it's none of her business.
I think what's great though is that this really shows how, as much as she
That's
is a
her-
great mother,
That's her
she's
boy.
not a perfect person. You know what I mean? So like,
No,
this
I
is
know,
a good,
yeah.
great character. Like,
She's
Jo's
definitely not a
writing-
perfect person. Did you hear my soapbox
Isn't that a
about
song
her
too? I'm
ripping
not a
up Fred and
perfect
George's order
person.
forms? Hoopa stank. You're right. Yeah. So yes, I agree. And like I mean, you guys have heard me talk about Mrs. Weasley before. There are things that she does that makes me
Questionable.
angry, real angry. And this is definitely one of them. I just think that, she is a motherly figure to Hermione many times, I would think. And to think that about somebody that like she should so clearly know well enough to know that that's not something she would do. It just, again, the media sucks. And like you can put something out there in the media and literally everybody will believe it. And all I will say is that goes on a lot in the real world right now.
I have a
And
question.
this is like perfect correlation.
Now, is she angry on behalf of Harry or angry on behalf of Ron?
I think Harry.
Because do you think that like she knows that Ron has feelings for Hermione?
I think she's oblivious to that right now.
Okay.
That's my take.
I think she knows that her son has feelings for her in like the young guy kind of way. I'm sure
So-
he talks about
Yeah.
her
He probably
a
doesn't
little
shut
bit.
up.
You know what I
Maybe.
mean? And a mama knows. Mama knows.
I will say this about my mom. Like when I had a cousin live with us for a while, and he's like, your mom doesn't know. I'm like, let me tell you. She might not tell you, but she knows everything that happens
Yeah.
in that house.
But-
Like, my mom knows all. You know
Having
what I
said
mean?
that,
Tell me, mom
Meg,
is.
having said that, I think she's upset for Harry
Yeah.
because that's her kid.
Yeah.
And because that's who the articles are writing about is like, oh, she's breaking Harry Potter's heart. And
Oh, I'm baffled.
why?
Like
Oh, I don't like her.
she's really.
you don't like her at all?
Yeah, I do, but like, I like.
Oh my
Yes.
God,
I like her, but she does a lot of things that really upset
that are
me.
really awesome, and
That
she
really
really
upset
comes
me.
through clutch.
Does
In
she?
the end,
In the end, she does come through clutch, and that's
And-
awesome. But she does
What are the things
questionable
you not like? Oh, you don't like the whole her
Fred
being-
and George.
Yeah.
That is
Fred and George. What?
Bob's shorts.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes me mad.
But the whole Bellatrix thing is pretty Bob's apron, you know?
Definitely.
Hey, mom's just trying to do what's
I mean,
best.
she has her moments, but overall, I would say she's not one of my favorite characters.
And that's fine. That's fine. Okay.
And
I was just
kicking out.
surprised. That's all.
I just want to like imagine being Hermione in this situation. So the whole the whole line of Hermione looks sadly at her tiny egg.
Yeah,
I
feel
think
for her.
Not to the level of maybe Harry feeling like Mrs. Weasley is like a mom figure, but I think Hermione does really look up to her. I mean, she spends a lot of time with the Weasleys. So then all of a sudden to have this person that you probably look up to, who feels like a mother to
Believes
you,
some
thinks this
Bob
about you?
Shorts
Think
in
about
a
how
random Witch
That's-
Weekly article.
That'd
Yeah.
be like your mom all of a sudden reading something about me and believing me. Like that would hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
instead of coming to you and be like, "What is this about?"
Right.
and then you talk about it and you're like, "Oh,
Having,
well,
Got
yeah,
it.
I
yeah,
know
having
that."
a grown-up
Yeah.
conversation. I'm
Like
sure she's
that's
terribly
horrible.
hurt.
That makes me sick.
Maybe there was just a shortage of eggs, and
They have magic. She can enlarge it.
Oh, okay.
She probably shrunk that stuff down to the size of a Skittle.
Don't defend her right here.
I'm just trying to
You get one Skittle for Easter.
But like honestly, how much would fit in that compared to like Ron and
It
and
probably
Harry's,
was
you
just
know, like
right. Nothing.
I know.
It has come time for us to say farewell for the moment to our old wizard friend. He has left us lightning bolt round questions, but
But I'm on my Nimbus 2000, and I'm traveling to King's Landing right now, so I will be.
You don't
I'll
want
be
to take
back.
the firebolt? It's faster.
No, actually, I have a great question for you guys later about a Nimbus and Fireball, and I'm interested to see what you say because, you have to think about the position. But we'll get there. But anyways, I love you guys. You're
love you
wonderful.
too.
You're wonderful people.
We love you too.
Can you do a Florence
does
before you
everybody
leave?
does everybody know who's coming to meet us in Orlando that Ezra will be there? Just so you know, he's part of the
He's
meet and greet.
replacing me.
Have bought my plane ticket and I'm coming down to Orlando. Yeah.
You should bring
I-
your thing that you play. It sounds...
the banjo?
yeah.
The banjo?
You haven't played that in a long time, at least
No.
around me.
I could. I'll do it. Yeah. But yeah.
Next weekend, bring it.
You big party next weekend. Yeah, I'll be here. So
Big party of 4 people.
Yep. Big party.
Plus
So,
a baby.
Yeah, I'll be in Orlando and I'll be in Kent. So I just want to say hi. Love you guys. You're the best. And I am gonna listen to the rest of this episode because I'm kind of
He doesn't listen to us anymore.
I do. I actually listen to the beginning and I listen to the end. I'm sorry.
It's a Sunday and
So
you're
you
lying.
don't listen to me and Katie.
No.
Oh yeah, because we're the middle.
No. I mean, I listen to like the chit chat, the weekly prophet, which is all you, and then start talking about the book, and I'm like,
So you just care about our lives.
I
and
just
listen to,
I love
like,
you guys, you know.
So what have we been
It's like
saying
my favorite
then? Let's
parts.
quiz him. We should have done this beforehand.
No, don't quiz me
I don't remember what I say on any of these
Yeah,
things
I don't
anyway.
remember
So.
because you every episode you say, and I'm Gaga Baga. That's what you say.
I say incoherent words, which is true actually.
Well,
But
anyways.
so before you go, you have to talk like Florence. You have to say something. Talk about your podcast as Florence right now.
Really,
Yeah.
gee, mini Christmas, guys. I don't know how to do Florence. Let me
Very
think.
carefully.
All right, ready? So, what do you mean to say? What do you mean to say again?
Talk about your podcasts.
So, hey guys, this Florence here, and I got a couple podcasts. That's not Florence at all. What is
No.
it? It's not, I need to hear Florence.
You got to do Florence.
There it
You
is,
got to talk
Florence.
about Bend the Knee. What other things do you do? You do Hyperspace Hangout. You
Florence
do that
and
very unexpected podcast. It
Things
totally
are
came out of left field, if you know what I
unexpected,
mean.
and it's garbage, and there's a lot of trash hanging out in hyperspace, and
You got to clean it up.
Katie's still my favorite Hufflepuff host. The ghost is the most. That's all I got. I really bad at Florence. I tried. I really tried.
That's all we can do is ask. What is it? Do or do not?
I still want to
No.
get I still
There's
would
no
love
try.
to have you and Julian sit down across from each other. You and Julian
Make it
and
happen.
have a conversation. Okay, I'll see if I can do that. So
Florence really doesn't like talking to other humans.
I bet.
Because I'm better than everyone.
Carry on, friends. I love you very
Carry
much.
on my way.
Be good.
Someone.
thank you, Az. We love you so much.
Az.
Bye.
People are going to be
Guys.
very excited to hear
There
from
are people are gonna lose it when they hear you.
All right, so I wanted to wrap up my section just with reading Percy's letter, which was short and irritated.
you. I'm sure.
like
Why
him.
he took so long to write this short and irritated letter is beyond me, but
I wonder if he was like debating on whether or not to like actually tell them what was going on. And I wonder if he wrestled with that for a little bit and then
then
finally
just
decided like,
decided.
what? It's none of their business.
yeah.
You know?
As I am constantly telling the Daily Prophet, Mr. Crouch is taking a well-deserved break. He is sending in regular owls with instructions. No, I haven't actually seen him, but I think I can be trusted to know my own superior's handwriting. I have quite enough to do at the moment without trying to quash these ridiculous rumors. Please don't bother me again unless it's something important. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. These rumors are ridiculous. Jeez. But you know, that's Percy.
True.
That is Percy.
As Tiffany would say.
True is true.
True is true, y'all. True is true.
Okay, so it's the last week of May when McGee holds Harry back in Transfiguration to tell him he has to go down to the Quidditch pitch at 9. So he can meet with Bagman and the other champions because it's finally time to find out what he has to do for the third task.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. So he's walking down, he meets Cedric in the entrance hall, and they start talking about what the task might be. And apparently, Cedric says that Fleur keeps going on and on about how they're going to have to go through like underground tunnels and how they're going to have to find treasure. And Harry's like, that wouldn't be so bad. I could just ask Hagrid to borrow a Niffler. So they walk down to the Quidditch pitch, and this is funny. Cedric stops dead. Sarah, don't even make a comment.
I wasn't even going to say anything. Because that doesn't happen for another couple of chapters.
And he's like,
Then he really stops dead.
Oh my lord.
guys. So he stops and he's like, what have they done to it? Because the Quidditch pitch isn't smooth and flat anymore. It almost looks like they're building like crisscrossy walls all over it.
Well, they are, in fact.
And Harry's like, oh, they're hedges. So Bagman calls him over, and Fleur's attitude has changed drastically ever since Harry
beams at him?
rescued. Yeah, did I say beans? Yeah, she throws beans at him. She beams at him because he saved her sister. So she no longer thinks he's just a little boy.
Did we talk about that being like a turning point for her?
We did in the Felix Files, I think.
Okay.
When we did an analysis of her, but I don't know if we brought it up in the episode.
Yeah, because I feel like there's a lot of
That's important.
There's a lot of turning points right here. But I feel like she realizes like there's so much more than like
Meets the eye.
that
I
and
feel
like
like she-
family. I feel like she starts to value
Instead of like status.
And that's
Yeah.
at the core of these books is family and love.
but really like
And that's a message that some people don't get until it's too late, unfortunately. Percy, I'm looking at you.
but yeah, no, I think that
But yeah, no.
I feel like that changed her a lot. It started her change, you know?
She's a completely different person by the time we hit 7.
When
Oh,
you're
for
at Shell
sure.
Cottage in
Yeah,
7, she
yeah.
is not the floor you knew before.
I think she's about to meet
So
her
is she like
love.
hardwood then?
She's ceiling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she went from floor to ceiling.
I was gonna say maybe she's like a nice marble bathroom floor, you know, like nice and
Hard
yeah, shiny.
tile. Shiny.
Right now, she's,
Sarah, there's like a pause. Sarah goes, tile.
right now she's kind of like carpet.
She's getting a little soft towards Harry
Oh my gosh.
before she hardens up for the war.
What is this about? What is this about? What's that?
I'm
What's
really-
better, our floor jokes or the polydactyl cats?
Let us take a poll.
Lord.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, let's go, Kate.
Let us roll
okay.
right into the next segment.
Let us roll.
Yep.
Let us rap. I like let us rap.
Up this episode.
Well, we're getting close ish.
Are we?
No. Gosh. I should have split this one.
Yeah, honestly.
It's a long chapter.
I know. All right.
I don't know why, but Bagman's enthusiasm kind of annoys me.
Get into that. Let's talk about that, Katie.
I don't know why it does. Like, I think that, there should be someone passionate about these games, but I think it's because he's actually so fake that I just don't like anything about him.
I agree.
Well, because I agree.
Do you
Like,
think
just
he's
like,
excited because he thinks he's going to be getting some cashola?
Oh, that's
Yes.
probably the biggest motivating factor.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome for the cashola.
Hundo P, 100%, Hundo P.
Because he's like literally like bouncing on the balls of his feet. And he's like, so what do you think? Hagrid will have these hedges 20 feet high in a month, which is pretty cool. Hagrid is like, he's got a serious green thumb.
Hey.
And
Pumpkins, hedges.
right.
Why isn't Sprout doing this?
She's
She's not
busy.
magical hedges.
Yeah, actually,
She's busy
Or are
taking
they?
care of her little plants.
yeah.
And Hagrid's like, bro, I work out here.
The
I am the
venomous
keeper of the
tentacula.
keys
And grounds.
of Hogwarts. This is literally my territory.
Do you know, like,
Step
for
off, Sprout.
forever, I thought he said keys and grains in the movie. Nope.
Keep it green.
and games at Hogwarts?
What makes
Grains.
bread?
Like wheat. Wheat.
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
This is spinaching out of control.
Let's rock it back into our lives.
So also because of the looks on Harry and Cedric's faces, Bagman's like, don't worry, you're going to have your Quidditch pitch back to normal. I just think it's funny because like they're just typical like sports people who are like, what happened to our pitch? And so he's like, can anyone guess what's going on here? And like everyone's silent and then Crumb just goes, maze.
I know. That's exactly how I read it, Katie. That is exactly how I read
Just
it.
like grunts it out. So the Triwizard Cup is going to be placed in the middle of the maze and the first champion to reach it and touch it gets full marks. But not so easy because Fleur's like,
Wow.
all we have to do is get to the cup. That's it. Bagman's like, no, there's going to be obstacles. Hagrid's supplying some creatures. There's going to be spells to be broken. Blah blah blah. Were you going to say something?
No, I'm just thinking like the first one to reach it's going to get full marks of death on them.
I mean, I was thinking it, but I didn't say it.
Oh my god. So since Harry and Cedric are tied for first, they'll get to enter first, then Crumb, then Fleur. And that's it. They can all go back to the castle. Like, could we have just written an email or something? Why
If
did we
you
have
think
to do
about
this whole
it,
meeting?
Katie, have you not read Hogwarts: A History?
All right, an
this-
owl.
In this, so Harry and Cedric they're tied for first. They touch the cup at the same time. Crumb was the second to last person to get to the cup. Fleur was the first one out.
Yeah, they literally finished in that order.
Yeah. You're welcome, America, and all other people listening to us.
I was going to say, it's definitely not just Americans.
So after they're all done with this pointless meeting,
Yeah, really.
like you could have just told me inside. Why'd I have to come along?
I wonder, like, if it wasn't Bagman, do you think they would have just been like, "Yo, you got a maze. There's obstacles, cups in the
Probably.
middle.
Right.
Yeah, honestly.
Cups in the middle.
Go find it."
Pip pip now.
After they're done, Crumb is like, ask Harry for a word and if he'll take a walk with him. So they walk towards.
Will you hold my hand?
He's such trash.
Who?
Bagman.
Oh, he is.
I was gonna get so offended. I'm
No.
like, Crumb is not
I know,
trash.
isn't
No.
Trash Bagman.
You should like him because you're trash.
You're right.
He's lower than trash and garbage. He's like the dirt on the bottom of a shoe that's in the bottom of a pond.
There's
He's
like
a-
50 feet of me.
He's a man
Or
bag
50
of
feet of
trash.
crap. Then me.
Yeah.
Oh, so they head towards the forest because Crumb doesn't want to be overheard. And he gets very serious. He's like,
does he
what's
get?
going on between you and Hermione? Hermione.
Hermione.
And Harry's like, nothing. We're friends. She's never been my girlfriend. It's that Skeeter woman making things up. And Crumb's like, she talks about you a lot. And Harry's like, yeah, because we're friends. That's it. And this is like the greatest. I don't know. I love that Harry thinks this. He couldn't quite believe he was having this conversation with Victor Crumb, the famous international Quidditch player. It was as though the 18-year-old Crumb thought he, Harry, was an equal, a real rival.
Yeah.
And he even mentions when they're walking, he like notes that Crumb is so tall. But then once like they actually have a conversation, he feels taller himself, and like he just feels like he can relate instead of.
Yeah.
I think he just feels good about
He's,
himself.
he's no
Famous.
longer this like pedestal famous player. Like he's a real.
It
like,
brings him
he's-
down to earth a little bit.
He's a teen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So after Harry assures him nothing's going on, Crumb actually compliments his flying. Like, how cool for Harry.
That's really cool.
That's amazing. That's like Taylor Swift being like, Meg, your cats are so cute.
They are cute.
And Harry's about to talk some quality Quidditch with him, which would have been like the greatest thing ever for him when they hear something in the forest. So they see this man staggering, and it's Mr. Crouch. But you can hardly recognize him, so I'm just going to quote from the book. He looked as though he had been traveling for days. The knees of his robes were ripped and bloody, his face scratched. He was unshaven and gray with exhaustion. His neat hair and mustache were both in need of a wash and a trim. His strange appearance, however, was nothing to the way he was behaving. So here's Crouch blabbering away to a tree, and he's talking to him as if he's Percy, like giving him work instructions. Yes, Tiffany.
So the way that he's talking and in and out of saneness and non, like that's like his brains are being addled.
Oh, there's completely
Yeah,
scrambled.
definitely.
Yeah.
And no matter what you think about Mr. Crouch and whatever he's done and blah blah blah, blah, no person deserves
Yeah.
what he's going through.
No.
For sure.
Also, what the heck happened to you in the forest, man? Because there's some scary stuff in there.
Do you think he's been in the forest for a while? Like, where was Junior keeping him?
He was keeping him at,
he was
at his
at home.
house, wasn't he? And then I
Crouch
think
is
like
sweet.
But I think he's
Crouch
been
would
traveling.
Crouch would like come back into his mind every now and then, and he like got himself out. I don't think he's been out that long.
But he's been out long enough to look like that,
this.
like
Right.
like beat up a little bit, like
Yeah.
the beard and stuff, whatever you know. But
Right.
like looking that he's like been traveling for a little bit.
Yeah.
So right now he's blabbering away, and he's like, and when you've done that, Weatherby, send an owl to Dumbledore confirming the number of Durmstrang students who'll be attending the tournament. Karkaroff has just sent word there will be 12.
Hey.
So he's like in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This isn't happening now.
that's
So,
how you
his
know
brains are
everything's
just-
all.
Because it's pretty soon. Like, it wasn't,
Ooh, do you think he's like getting rid of memories from that point on? You know what I'm saying? So
So he still feels stuck there because that's where his mind is.
right, and
Probably.
because Judy's been addling like his memories and stuff from the point where he like took him over. So maybe like he still has that memory and then some from future from that point. But as far as like him being like taken over, he's like trying to erase them or
Yeah.
whatever, messing with it.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Harry calls to him, and he just keeps blathering. And then he starts to trail off. His eyes are bulging. He like staggers and falls over. His eyes are rolling in his head. And Crumb would very much like to be excused from this narrative. He does not want to be around Mr. Crouch right now.
Like, he's not used to this stuff. Where
That's
Harry's
really
just like,
scary.
It's another day. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Right.
that's just a day in the life of Potter.
Right.
I just appreciate your Taylor Swift reference.
You're welcome.
What did you say?
Crumb would very much like to be excused from this narrative. Taylor said that about the Kim Kanye narrative. I would very much like to be excluded from this narrative.
I'm sure she would.
So then all of a sudden, Crouch just bursts out Dumbledore. And he can barely get any words out. But he's trying to tell Harry he needs to see Dumbledore. And Harry's like, okay, like just get up, we'll go to the castle. But Crouch, like, he's not moving. He says he's done a stupid thing. He looks absolutely crazy. His eyes are rolling and bulging. There's spit dripping down his chin.
I think he's resisting
Oh
the
yeah.
Imperious Curse.
Oh yeah. Like every word he's speaking is literally causing him like horrific effort.
Yeah.
He's like, I must tell Dumbledore. And Harry's like, okay, get up, I'll take you. And Crouch is like, who are you? And Harry's like, I'm a student at the school. And Crouch says, you're not his? And Harry doesn't know what he's talking about, but he's just like, no. And Crouch says, Dumbledore's? And Harry's like, that's right. But this is completely accurate because I think Crouch is talking about Voldemort. So truthfully, Harry is on Dumbledore's side. But still, Harry's like, you're nuts. So Crouch pulls him closer. Harry's trying to pull away, but Crouch is too powerful, which just, again, shows how hard he's fighting this curse. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, this is so important that he needs to talk to Dumbledore. So he needs to warn Dumbledore. That's all he gets back out. And then he starts talking fluently to the tree again as if it's Percy. And he's talking about about his son and how his son had gained 12 owls and how he's so proud.
That's like way in the past.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's like if he was thinking about the past and thinking about who his son was before
Yeah.
all of this.
That's a
Maybe.
good point.
Do you think maybe like
That like really hurts my heart.
do you think Junior might have even like made him like sit down and tortured him and be like, these are the things that you did to me, and like
I would doubt it.
I don't know.
made him relive them?
I want to say I hope not, but I don't know when you go over to that side, like there's nothing that I think you won't do.
Yeah.
I mean, they also
Yeah.
have cookies, so
And
cookies and hatred.
I like cookies.
you would, Slytherin.
You know who doesn't anymore? Cookie Monster.
He's still
He
eating.
eats
know, I
cookies. Gosh. They do the number of the day and then counts like whatever. These are the cookies, and then Cookie
It's the
Monster eats
number of
them.
the day. Ha ha.
We have problems.
Yeah.
I watch a lot
Harry
of Sesame
Potter.
Street.
So Harry tells Crumb, "Stay here. I'm gonna go get Dumbledore. It'll be faster if
Stupid.
I go because I know where his office is." But as soon as Harry tries to move, that just triggers Crouch into being like his sane, not sane. You know what I mean?
Like in the moment.
Right. Like he's broke through. He needs to get this out now. So he's like, "Don't leave me. I escaped. Must warn. Must tell. See Dumbledore. My fault. All my fault. Bertha dead. All my fault. My son. My fault. Tell Dumbledore. Harry Potter, the Dark Lord. Stronger. Harry Potter." So Harry is like, "I will go to Dumbledore if you let go." And then he's like, "Yo, Crumb, you want to help me out? Like, why are you just standing there?"
He definitely is not the kind of person that deals with these situations. So I feel like there are people that have like the natural ability to like jump into situations
Yes.
and do really well. And I
He
don't
shies from it.
I don't think that he's one of those kinds of people.
Yeah.
Which kind of makes me think like, are you well suited for this tournament?
Right.
And would you have been able to do it had you not been given cheating, you know,
Yeah,
like
I
told
agree,
about
I agree.
tasks?
Yeah.
I just don't know. Like, I feel like
He
Fleur
has to
as
have
well.
some-
You have to have that innate ability to like adapt and change and go with it. And he is stuck like a rock right
Well,
now.
there's a theory out there that Junior like literally did some magic on the
Chose
cup,
those people.
so it chose people that actually weren't the greatest, like like each team.
but I
so
feel
that
like
if
Cedric is
Harry-
fine.
Yeah, but he still didn't win, and maybe he.
Cedric is fine, but Cedric wanted to pass up the cup to Harry because he's a Hufflepuff and he wanted it to be just. And I think that is also like something that Junior thought of, like, well, I'm going to put somebody in there who's maybe a pushover. I'm going to put Cedric in there.
Yeah.
Yes, Cedric was definitely able to do the tasks and he did them well. But when it came to the end, he was literally going to give it up to go to Harry.
It wasn't a cutthroat tournament like maybe the past would have been when it
Correct.
wasn't. Okay, I get that. Yeah.
It's a
But
very
I mean, it
interesting
just
theory.
really shows through at this moment. Like
Yeah.
he's like
Yeah, he's just
awkward
kinda
turtle.
like-
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So even though Crumb is super apprehensive, Harry does get him to like sort of agree to watch Crouch while he runs up to the castle. He's like, "I'll be back with Dumbledore." So he sprints back to the castle to where Dumbledore's office is by the stone gargoyles, and he starts yelling "lemon drop." But like that was the password 2 years ago.
It was a valiant effort.
It was. So then Harry's like, maybe he's in the staff room. So then he starts running as fast as he can towards the stairs. And now it's
Alright.
blue.
So, obviously, just like around pools, running is not allowed at Hogwarts.
God, this is gonna be good.
And especially when Snape is swishing around, you know, in his robes. And, you know, we also know he doesn't appreciate Harry Potter, especially when he's running around amok. And, you know, and there was like, and, you know, being Potter.
Right.
So he's just coming out of the gargoyle that hides the stairs to the headmaster's office. So he's coming out from Dumbledore's place. And, you know, he's like, dude, what are you doing here? I don't want to look at your face. And Harry's like, I have to talk to Dumbledore. Like, he's adamant. Like, I have to talk to him. And he tries to tell Snape. He's like, Crouch is outside. He's in the forest. But he, like, really doesn't. Snape doesn't give him, like, a lot of leeway to say anything. So Snape's like, all right, what? Like, what are you talking about? And so Harry tries to say it again, like, there's Crouch, he's in the forest, something's wrong, he must be sick, and I need to see Dumbledore, he wants to see him, and he asks Snape for the password, and of course Snape is not going to give it to him.
Like,
Yeah.
it just drives me nuts. Like, why would Harry lie?
He's just being nasty, be nasty.
Yeah.
Harry, like, can't you use your legilimens to like understand that he's being sincere?
Right.
And why would he be freaking out?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, use your common sense. And it really irritates me that he does this.
Yeah.
So
He's
Snape-
not my most least favorite character. I will say that about Snape. So don't come at me. Usually people don't come at me because
I
they're
love
very
when you're
nice.
like he's not my most least favorite.
But honestly, but when stuff like this happens, like, you need to realize this and recognize the sense of urgency. And there's no reason for Harry Potter to go to Dumbledore's office
Yeah.
with this amount of urgency if he were just, goofing around.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't goof around with Dumbledore. He has so much respect for him. Ugh.
So Snape then tells him that the headmaster is busy, all along with a smile on his face, which I'm like, ugh. So Harry is adamant,
Such a
yelling
time
that he
waster.
needs to see Dumbledore, but Snape isn't having it.
It's such a waste of time.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm
And-
sorry, Sarah. I keep interrupting you, but it really
Yeah.
gets me because what could have changed had they gotten down there sooner?
He might have
lot.
still been there. Yeah.
A lot could have changed.
So Harry, this is from the book. So Harry could tell Snape was thoroughly enjoying himself, denying Harry the thing he wanted when he was panicky. And I said, dude, not nice. Man, not
I
nice.
just don't get it.
He's just being a Richard.
Gotta edit that out. That's too easy.
What, Richard?
No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to edit that.
And so good for Harry that he won't give up, as much as like
Yeah.
Snape is being that. He's like standing, he's like, I need to talk to him. And he starts saying how Crouch seems like he's out of his mind. He wants to warn Dumbledore, and Harry stops because the wall starts to move. So he stops talking. And then luckily Dumbledore is standing there. He's coming down the steps or whatever. And he's wearing long green robes. And he's like, is there a problem here, Officer? Professor? So before Snape could get a word out, Harry like jumps and tells Dumbledore that Crouch is hiding in the woods. Mr. Crouch, get it? He's hiding in the woods, Mr.
crouching.
Crouch. So he wants to speak. He wants to speak to you, Mr. Crouch. Waiting in the forest, Mr. Crouch. Waiting in the forest, Mr. Crouch. Shia LaBeouf. To Harry,
Crouch.
yeah. To Harry's relief, Dumbledore doesn't ask any questions, and he asks or tells Harry to lead the way. And so on the way there, Dumbledore's like, "Yo, Harry, what's the haps?"
This is what I'm saying. He understands the sense of urgency, and he's like, no questions asked. I trust you.
go.
Let's go.
Yeah, he is not letting his prejudiceness interfere with his teacherliness. So Harry tells him like, or he asks Harry, he's like, "What is Crouch saying?" and stuff. And he says, he wants to warn you. He said he's done something terrible. He mentioned his son and Bertha Jorkins and Voldemort. Something about Voldemort getting stronger. And then I said, interesting. Moldy Voldy's getting stronger. That's information people are dying to hear. You're welcome. What? So hearing this news makes Dumbledore speed up a little bit. Harry reiterates that Crouch isn't doing well, and he's worried about him. And he tells Dumbledore, he's like, I left him with Crouch. Or he didn't. He left him with Crumb.
I love Crouch.
So Dumbledore doesn't like this answer. He starts walking even faster. And then he's like, okay, did anybody see Mr. Crouch? Like, did anybody see all of this go down? And I was like, I wonder if he has an inkling of what might be going on.
I don't
Oh,
know.
that's a good question.
I feel like because if he knew what was going on, then he would question a lot more about things happening at Hogwarts than he does.
Yeah.
I think that Judy really did do a really good
Yeah, I
job
wonder,
with
though,
this.
I agree.
if he's thinking like how fishy it is that that Crouch hasn't like come to anything and like
I mean,
he's not been at work. Like I wonder if he has inkling like what does that have to do
There's
with
gotta
the
be
Jorkins
something,
and she's
maybe.
missing.
I'm sure he
like,
was trying to like put the pieces together for
it,
sure.
But it like wasn't making sense.
what a puzzle.
yeah.
One would say.
Well,
Yeah.
especially because what the actual truth is bonkers
Insane.
crazy.
Yeah.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah. So I'm sure, I mean, so the memory, jumping ahead, the memories are in the pensieve. So I'm sure that he was taking them out to inspect them to kind of figure out like what's
Yeah.
going on with Crouch. Let me take a look at his back history. Why would these things be happening?
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's why the memories were right there for Harry to look at because Dumbledore himself was examining them and thinking about Crouch. So we know he's trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I had to find where my place was.
We all, except for Meg, did this today.
So Harry had been talking to Crumb when he saw Mr. Crouch. He's like, no one else is around. And then he's like, all right. So they're like in the forest, and he kind of shows Dumbledore where they must be. He's like, all right, thinking that he'll be able to hear Crouch because he was like, spouting all of this nonsense kind of stuff. And he starts calling out for Victor, but there's no response. So Dumbledore then casts a Lumos so they can see better in the forest, and they find some boots on the ground, and connected to the boots is a whole human, and it's Victor Crumb. And he's on the forest. I almost called the florist is what it was going to come out. The forest floor, unconscious, but there's no Mr. Crouch around. So obviously Victor has been stunned, as we all are, by my beauty.
Yeah, every day.
Always.
Dumbledore then sends a Patronus message, which, I mean, it's not written out like that, but you know it is, because Harry describes it as something silvery dart out of his wand like a ghostly bird. And I was like, right, you are, Harry.
Is this our first instance of that way to send messages?
I think so.
And that's our first way of knowing what Dumbledore's Patronus is.
Well, we don't know. He said a bird, like...
It's a phoenix.
Yes, we know it's a phoenix. And I was going to say that we know it's a phoenix only because we've read the books. But right now in this instant, you wouldn't know it's a phoenix.
You just know it's a bird.
Right.
It resembles a bird-like thing.
I haven't read the books. Thanks for ruining that.
You're welcome. Dumbledore dies.
From the ring.
So does Snape.
No, they threw that in Mordor.
So does Harry. So does Voldemort.
So Dumbledore then wakes Crumb up. He's like, here, I have some smelling salts. Smack, smack, smack on the face. A bucket of water. Wake up, Crumb.
Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey.
Except I ate it all, said Ron. Shoving eggs in his mouth. I could write a story. You're welcome, America and other countries. I don't know why I say that. So he wakes him up, and Crumb then is like, all right, Dumbledore, I got to tell you, your bro, Mr. Crouch, he attacked me from behind because he's a coward. So the Phoenix message that Dumbledore sent was for Hagrid. And then so Hagrid's like barreling down with Fang, and he's like, all right, broski, go get some Karkaroff, tell him what happened, and then go get Moody. But curiously, Moody's already out and about, lurking in the woods. Shia LaBeouf, except it says lurking. Crouch. It says lurking in the moods.
I like to lurk in the mood.
Lurking in the woods.
Shia LaBeouf.
Bohemia's Crouch.
Bartimus Crouch. Julia. Dumbledore then tells Moody, all right, it is of the utmost importance that we got to find Barty Crouch. So Moody goes to look. We obviously know he either found him before meeting all these peeps or after. So here's my question, because we know, if you don't know, now you will. Barty Crouch is dead.
He did.
He dead as a doornail. Dead. Well, he's dead as a bone. So, is he dead already, or is he about to die?
I think he's dead already.
Okay.
I think
he's dead.
Moody
he put the body
actually
He was the
somewhere.
one that stunned.
Attacked
It
and
makes more
stunned
sense for
Victor.
Moody to be the one that attacked Crumb in my head, because like Barty Crouch Sr. isn't coherent enough to be able to just do a stunning spell.
Here's my thought. He's looking, he's peeping, Harry leaves, boom, whatever. Crumb turns around, stun, takes his dad, moves him out, and he either like kills him.
See, I would
back
think it'd be a
there.
stun in a Nevada. Like you
I
stun him, he's not
agree
going to
with
see
Sarah.
anything.
Yeah, I think he just killed
Think
him.
He's stunned in Nevada.
Yeah.
Because I
Okay.
think he's thinking, oh shoot, he's resisting. I can't contain him anymore.
And, like,
we're done
it's
with
gotta
And
this.
be
what's
done.
the point? Like I
And
don't
then
really
he moves
need him.
and then he moves the body.
Yep.
Comes out, or do you think?
No,
he
I
did
think
the
he's already
transformation thing?
transfigured him.
You think he did it already?
Yeah, I think it's
done.
One
I think
foul
he's
swoop.
boned and buried.
Okay, boned and buried. There we go.
Do you think he saw Crouch on the map? Because he has it from Harry still.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, he was probably in his office, or was he down at the maze? He wasn't at the maze, right? So he's probably in his office doing whatever, peeping around, drinking some polyjuice.
Think about how annoyed he must
Seeing
be,
him
like,
come on the edge.
trying to get from his office to the forest, hobbling,
Yeah.
and being like, I got to get there
But
before something
honestly-
crazy happens.
And you know what? I bet he inspects that map constantly
Yep.
because of his paranoia.
Yep.
Like,
sure.
like actual Moody has paranoia, but I think Judy has even more paranoia than the real Moody does.
Yes.
because of all of the things that he's trying to do and has done.
Well, and he has more to lose. Like, he has more
Correct.
things to worry about.
Oh, yeah.
And this, too, is, like, completely different, really, from the movies because they're at the lake, right? The trio is. And Harry goes to walk in the woods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
this
then he
part is
sees
dumb
the dead body.
Right?
Of-
Yes. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
alone.
Senior.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, he's alone.
Yeah.
He's walking alone in the woods.
Yeah.
But, like, not even in a forest. Like, it's a lightly treed place. You know what I mean? It's not like a
Yeah.
heavily dense.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit different in the book. I mean, versus movie versus book.
Right.
So yes, he did. So then Karkaroff is now on the scene. Crumb tells him about the attack, and Mr. Igor is not happy, to say the least.
Well, you knew he would
And
throw a
he's like,
fit.
treachery! It is a plot by Dumbledore and his ministry. First, an underage wizard in the competition, and now his being my, like, Karkaroff student has been attacked. He's like, he smells double dealing and corruption. And I
surprised he
said,
didn't
sorry.
leave.
My bad.
You know what I mean?
Get it. Get the joke.
What?
He smells double dealing and corruption. Sorry, that was me.
Sarah.
You're welcome. Fart jokes are funny.
Our jokes are funny.
But I mean, it looks suspicious
Yeah.
from, everybody else's point of view, but like people at Hogwarts, because they're kind of used, especially with Harry being there, they're used to crazy times at Ridgemont High, at Hogwarts High. And to show, and this is so upsetting, to show Dumbledore what Karkaroff thought of Dumbledore, he spits on the ground in front of him, which is a major sign of disrespect. And so, of course, my main man, Hagrid, is none too pleased at the blatant lack of respect, so he pulls him up off of his feet by, like, his furs, like the cuff of his shirt, basically, like, pulls him up, and we know that Hagrid's not a small man, so he pulls him up, and he slams him against a tree and orders him to apologize. And then Dumbledore's like, Hagrid, you have to stop. He's like, no, don't. So Hagrid lets go of Karkaroff, but, like, not gently. He just drops him from where he's, like, holding him up against the tree. So he obviously slides down to the ground, and he's slumped at the bottom of the tree, and it even was, like, leaves and, like, pine needles and stuff, like, fell on his head. Which is still not... And I don't want anyone to be like, I can't believe you wouldn't say anything. Not that people are like that, but it is wrong. Don't react in a violent
use
way.
your words.
Yes.
Yep.
Use your
So Hagrid was
words.
not right, but really before any major things happened, he stepped back. Thanks to Dumbledore telling him to stop. So then Dumbledore's like, Hagrid, just take Harry back to his dorm, and. Hagrid's like, I think I should stay. And he's like, no, I really need you to take Harry back to his dorm. Because he knows that Hagrid's, like, very fired up. He's respects Dumbledore a lot. And so to see someone do something that...
Physical?
Disrespectful.
Yes. Like, it's just, he doesn't stand for it. Like, think of how angry he gets when the Vernon.
The Vernon University.
Like, when he... talks about Dumbledore being a crackpot old fool or whatever,
Yeah, crackpot old fool.
So he has a lot of love and respect for Dumbledore, and he's not going to stand for... But, like, in a way, good for him for standing up for someone he loves and respects.
Definitely.
He just needs to find a more constructive
Less
way
violent
of doing
way.
it. Yes.
Correct.
So he's like, nah, I need you to take Harry back to the Gryffindor Tower. And then he tells Harry, he's like, I need you to stay there. Don't go anywhere. And anything you might want to send, it can wait. And so Harry's like, I wonder how Dumbledore, like, knew. He was, like, thinking just then about how he wanted to send a letter to Sirius using Pig, telling him all about the things that happened.
Yeah. And I also think, like, Dumbledore wanting to get Hagrid out of that situation, but also he I think he senses that, Harry Potter might be in a little bit of danger here.
Yeah. Well, too, and he's thinking maybe like this isn't. I just lost my train of thought. Something about like that situation. Like he needs to.
It's an adult
control it more so. Like he doesn't want more bad things like associated. Right. I shouldn't say bad things, but like Karkaroff already thinks like, there's an underage wizard. You have two.
I'm not going to let this kid stay and be part of this when it's already thin ice.
I don't want Hagrid to have to go through like he's already had all this bad media press. Karkaroff
and now you're throwing Karkaroff around, and someone's going to write an article about how giants are violent and whatever.
Yeah,
so
I guess trying to save everybody a little
bit of grief.
Yeah. So then Hagrid decides he's like, all right, fine, but I'm leaving Fang, and so then off the two merriest of men go. And so then I'm going to read a little bit from the chapter and tell you how angry little Hagrid is. Little Haggy Hag. I'll never call him that again. I apologize. So he says, and I quote, "How dare he," Hagrid growled as they strode past the lake. "How dare he accuse Dumbledore? Like Dumbledore doing anything like that? Like Dumbledore wanted you in the tournament in the first place? Worried? I don't know when Dumbledore more worried than he's been lately. Oh, sorry, words are hard. And you," Hagrid suddenly said angrily to Harry, who looked at him, taken aback. "What were you doing wandering off with Ruddy Crumb? He's from Durmstrang, Harry. Could have jinxed you right there, couldn't he? Hasn't Moody taught you nothing? Imagine letting him lure you off on your own." And then Harry's like, all right, broski, Hagrid man. He's like, Crumb wasn't doing any jinxing of the sort. He was just asking about Hermione. And then Hagrid's like, well, he's like, I'm going to be talking to her about it, basically. He says, the less you have to do with these foreigners, the happier you'll be. You can't trust any of them. And then my own personal thought said, this makes me sad because that's just not true. Mm-hmm. And so then it really annoys Harry. And Harry responds with telling Hagrid, like, oh, well, you've been really getting on well with Madame Maxime. And he says, you talk to me about her. I've got her number now, trying to get back in my good books, trying to get me to tell her what's coming in the third task. Ha! You can't trust any of them. And then I, again, said, it's really sad to see this. Well, I mean, it's sad to see when anyone, like, hates a whole group of people for no reason. Mm-hmm. Because just because they're different from you doesn't mean they're bad. They're just different. We're all humans. But...
Agreed.
It's sad to see that Hagrid is like this, really, because at the beginning of the book, like, had it not gone this way, had she been more receptive about the whole half giant thing, he probably wouldn't be saying these things. Like, his heart was hurt by those. Not saying that this is right. I'm just giving a reason why I think this is what happened and why he's saying these things. Mm-hmm. Because he probably would have thought differently, and that's unfortunately how some people are, where, they have one bad experience and everybody's like that. So Harry's very happy that they're finally at Gryffindor Tower because he wants to get away from Hagrid and his horrible mood. And he also can't wait to tell Ron and Hermione what happened. So, yeah.
Whew. That's a chapter.
That's a chapter.
So another thing to add, though, Alana also has things to add, is like Hagrid right there with like talking about foreigners kind of reminds me a little bit of Ron.
Yeah.
I thought the same thing. Yeah.
So it just makes me sad.
All right, lightning bolt round.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
we have Ezra's questions.
We have Sir Ez questions.
We have one from the chat. Do we want to do that really quick?
Yeah.
What kind of chocolate bar would you want as a prize if your Niffler gathered the most gold?
Mally's pretzel.
Mally's pretzel
Mally's
bar.
almond.
Oh my god, I would want a giant one that has all the different Mallies minus the crisp one.
You know what I almost said? I was like, if someone for Christmas got me a big brick of it, it was you guys.
It was.
It's so good.
Yep.
It's so good. That's some Bob's Apron right
Oh,
there. Some Bob's Apron chocolate.
All right, Ezra's lightning round questions. Here we go.
Question number 1. He spelled that so wrong. What? Would you rather fight Voldy with Seamus or Dean? And he spelled Seamus just wrong.
Dean.
Yeah. Oh,
Dean,
really?
Dean. Okay. That's Alana's answer.
As a keeper, would you rather be on a firebolt? Oh, really? Would you rather be on a firebolt or a Nimbus 2000 or a clean sweep?
Firebolt.
Firebolt.
Firebolt, flying in the sky.
Firebolt.
Hope I don't die. It's really sad that like we all know that now. Firebolt. What's the other one? I was like, here is my handle, here is my tail. I took my tuchus right there. Okay.
Never mind.
If you could you could only visit one professor in the summer from Hogwarts, who would it be?
Lupin.
I would visit Hagrid.
I visit
Dumble
McGee.
count?
Yeah, he's a
Hold on.
He's not alive.
Yeah,
Does
thank
Professor
you.
Dumbledore count?
Well, neither is Lupin.
I know, but she was
That's
like,
what she
I'm
said.
I would visit
Me, I didn't know
Lupin.
your hand was there. It's like, what am I touching?
Yesterday, my
Lupin.
sister's skirt touched my foot, and I was like,
Lupin.
and I was like, ooh.
Can you say Lupin? Lupin.
Not for you. Can you say hi? Say hi. You gonna be shy now? You silly.
Oh, really?
Oh, there, she's waving.
Hi. All right.
Baby.
You said Dumbledore. Did you both say Lupin?
Yeah, Lupin.
Okay, I said Hagrid. Dog. Would you rather fight Voldemort or Grindelwald? Voldemort. Because he talks too
Voldemort.
much, you could just zap him while he's making his little speech.
Yep. I agree.
All right, Fantastic Beasts or Harry Potter?
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter for books.
Oh, books
And I think
or
Fantastic
movies?
Beasts
Oh,
for
if we're-
movies.
In terms of movies, Fantastic Beasts I
Yeah.
enjoy more.
Yeah. Well,
But like as a
don't know.
whole,
Tough.
TBD.
Harry
TBD.
Potter.
I
Yeah.
think because with the movies of Fantastic Beasts, I have no book to compare it to
Right.
to judge it on.
Exactly. So it makes the
it's a
movies
little
more
bit-
enjoyable.
Yes. Oh, really? Would you rather go to the wizardly world of Kent or the wizarding world of Harry Smotter? I don't know what that means.
Wizardly World of Ken.
What is a smarter?
I don't know. He's an odd human. We don't know what that means, sir. If you had to make out with one wizard
What?
or witch from
What?
your own house, who would it be?
What? Marty,
For my own
because
house?
he's a Gryffindor. Hey.
I would pick either Cedric or Tonks.
Character-wise, Tiffany, who would you make out with? Would you make out with some Harry Potter? I don't have Mary money. I would probably make out with Luna.
Ooh, nice.
Because I'm trying to think of the guy ones. There's not a ton of guys. I'm like, yeah, I enjoy.
Roger Davies.
Yes.
I would make out with Dean Thomas. Oh, but I have to pick my own house.
You're not a Gryffindor.
I would make out with Dean Thomas. I don't know. Hermione.
Goyle.
No. I guess Draco.
Yeah, I guess Draco.
Crab.
Not Blaze.
Oh, Blaze is actually really attractive. Maybe
I
Blaze.
mean, the guy that plays him is cute.
Yeah.
Right.
Blaze Zambini.
Yeah. Okay, what's the next question? Favorite Potter candy? I like those cauldron cakes. That's not really candy.
Those are really good.
but it's really good.
Pumpkin pasties.
I'm not a huge pumpkin.
I enjoy. Is that a candy though?
No. I actually really like the jelly slugs. They taste like Swedish fish. And they're so
I
good.
don't like Swedish fish.
Oh,
though.
God.
I haven't had a ton of candy. I'm not a huge candy eater. Like, I'm not a sweets person.
Yeah.
The fizzing Whizbees are fun too because it's Pop Rocks inside
Yeah,
the chocolate.
I
I
like
like
fizzing
those,
with
yeah.
these.
Yeah. Meg,
What
how
do
about
you like, Alana? Nothing.
Fizzing Whizbees.
Yeah.
Would you keep it a secret or keep it? Would you keep it secret or keep it safe? Safe.
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 That's like- that's
Safety begins with me.
Yes.
That's a Disney thing.
It is a Disney thing.
I really. That's a good question. Tiffany, you didn't answer. Safe or secret?
Safe.
Favorite Fantastic Beast?
Niffler.
Or a hippogriff. Or a werewolf.
Phoenixes count.
Yeah.
Phoenix.
Does this
real.
beast count? Credence.
Oh.
Get out.
I also like nifflers. And unicorns. They're cute. Oh my gosh. What is your favorite Star Wars podcast? Y'all know the answer to this.
Rebel Watch.
BB-8 radio. Which might not be a thing.
Hyperspace Hangout. Hyperspace Hangout.
hangout.
Never heard of it.
I also like Force Toast.
Force toast. Hoo ha ha.
We had one more in the chat. Which Harry Potter kid, either their kids or one of the main characters as a kid, would you like to babysit? I'd want to babysit Scorpius.
Oh my gosh.
Scorpius.
That's a good one.
Well, who would Sarah like to babysit?
Oh, sorry.
What was the question?
Scorpius. Who would you want to babysit? Which Harry Potter kid, either their kids or one of the main characters as a kid, would you want to babysit?
I would probably. I mean, I think Harry would be easy to babysit.
Yeah.
Hermione too.
I would say Harry or Hermione.
I would make Hermione read me stories.
Right.
I originally was thinking Fred and George, but then I was like, oh, they're
No.
probably going to be like not great.
Fan story?
Yeah.
All right. This week's fan story comes from Jordan. I just found your podcast through Reddit a few days ago, and I've been listening nonstop. When I heard you discussing Potter stories each episode, I couldn't wait to share mine. My name is Jordan. I'm a Ravenclaw, and my Patronus is a snake. My Harry Potter journey started when I was in 7th grade, 1999-ish. My mother bought me the first book when she had heard so much about it. It took me a long time to read it. She basically had to force me, but once I finished it, I was hooked. We immediately went to the bookstore to buy Chamber of Secrets and began growing up with each character. I can remember where I was in certain moments of each book, but most notably, I remember the night when I read that Snape had killed Dumbledore. I was 18 and staying with my family the night before moving into college. What a time. For a while, it was a tradition to go see the new Harry Potter movie with our family at Thanksgiving. I'm currently trying to convince my husband to read the books, but for now, I will be happy that he watches the movies willingly every time they come on TV. Aww. My son's middle name is James, and my daughter's nickname is Lily. Totally unintentional, but I love it. Now I get to rewatch everything through their eyes. I can't wait until they are old enough for me to read the books to them. Thanks for what y'all do, Jordan.
That is
like
so
that. Thank
cute.
you.
That was super sweet. Thank you. And that's what I'm excited for too. Like I am sharing this with like you guys sitting here at this table and everyone in our community because I'm kind of rereading them again. These last couple books for the first time in forever.
When we get to 5, it's gonna be like,
Oh my God, my mind's just
I
gonna
know.
be blown.
It's been a while.
yeah.
And then on top of that, like when me and Meg start our family, like it's gonna be so crazy to relive this like through completely fresh eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like just share that and just like watch. Hopefully, if they don't like it, you know.
They'll like it.
Dude,
Ugh,
I
don't know what I'll do.
Wait
I know.
to read this with you, little Rose. It's gonna be super cool. She waves to microphones, you guys. It's awesome. Thank you, Jordan,
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much.
your
Thank you for
story.
your story.
All right. So if you want to follow us on all the different social media channels, we are there on Facebook at Swish and Flick Podcast, Swish Flick Cast on Twitter and Instagram. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you go subscribe because we're going to do we already did episode 100 live by the time you see this, but never mind.
For future live things.
For future live things that we'll do, make sure you go subscribe and hit the little bell to get a notification whenever we post something. Also, you can join us on Patreon at patreon.com/SwishFlickCast to gain access to the Felix files. Join us for monthly hangouts. We post like our docs on there, all kinds of fun stuff. So make sure that you check that out. Also, you can find all of our merchandise and info on swishflickcast.com.
So this past weekend, as of this being recorded, we had Alana's first birthday party. Mm-hmm. And her birthday's coming up on this Wednesday as we're recording this.
She'll be 1 when this episode's out.
She will be, which is crazy.
It makes me want I almost started crying yesterday.
I've been crying. It's been crazy. You're a great little person, Lana.
You're pretty cool, Alana.
You're super cool.
Cool. Lady Supreme.
I can't talk about it too much because I'll start crying.
It's been a wonderful year with you, Miss Rose.
It's also our second birthday.
Yeah,
Her
coming
first
up.
birthday is our second birthday.
It's craziness.
It's like so crazy. Like the day that she was born last year, and we're like, it was like towards the end of the day, we're like, Swish and Flick was born on this day.
Yeah.
Like it was so meant to be.
It was meant to be. You're a little Swisher.
And watch, it's gonna be meant to be that she won't like Harry Potter. She'll be like, but like Star Wars is better.
Just as long as you love something. Right, Rose?
You'll like Harry Potter. It's the right thing to do.
For the greater good, you will enjoy it.
I'm just interested to see which house she's going to be in. I think it's a Ravenclaw, but you never know. She could follow in Mom and Dad's footsteps.
She's currently trying to read Goblet of Fire as we speak.
Hi!
Okay.
And
You
mutilate
love
the books.
She does books like I do books, so she's probably a Ravenclaw. Probably a Ravenclaw.
No, literally, if you ask her if she wants to read books, she gets so excited. She loves Mr. Brown Can Moo Can You. Look at her. She stops and looks at me. What do you think, Lana?
Can you go? Can you blow? Yeah.
Yay! Oh,
She
you're so
legitimately
cute.
blew out her candles.
Miss Wolves.
Cute.
Oh.
I know. And so that's just what I've been doing. And then we're going to be getting ready for Kent.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What about you guys?
We daily vlog the Petrus family on YouTube.
Oh.
You can follow us, Katie and I, on our crazy adventures. I just had a test done for our fertility journey called the Sono HSG test, and everything came back normal and good.
First time for Megan. Something coming back normal.
Hey!
They said that everything was working really well, and they don't expect us to have issues. But I know that that's been said to people before, and they have. So we're just gonna have to see how it goes.
Just
So,
have some faith, baby.
When the time comes, send us some baby dust.
Baby dust.
It's gonna be a little bit. We're still not really ready to not be just Megan and Katie, but we're definitely taking the steps to get there. So
Yep.
it's a long process for people who are not a boy and a girl.
I'll let Alana send you whatever dust you need.
Okay.
Well, it could be, even then, it could still be a long process.
No, for sure, but it's just a different process for us.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh. Look at
Shira.
that. Getting put over there. Are you not going to add anything, Katie?
Make sure you come see us at Wizardly World of Kent. We're getting ready for it. We're ordering some merch to sell, ordering some buttons, stickers, all kinds of fun stuff, planning what we're going to do. We're really excited to meet everybody. Hopefully you can make it out. It's July 27th.
Even if just say hi real quick, that'd be cool.
What am I doing with my life? Still trying to find a job. If I might move, who knows? But I just got in this episode that we recording the day before I leave for Aruba, so I will have been back for a week now. Back to reality.
Back to life.
Yep. So hopefully I didn't get burnt like a crisp.
Wear your sunscreen. That's important.
Yep.
You tell her, Alana.
And other than that, I'm just trying to get ready for Kent. Like I just am working a lot, working in podcasting. That's literally all I do with my life. So I'm trying to find a new job, possibly in Columbus. So if you guys have any job offerings for me, let me know. I'd like to move.
She's like, no, you will not move.
But we'll see. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be.
That's true. I believe that concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Amazing! Just my voice!
Hello, and welcome to episode nothing of Swish and Flick.
I only read what's on the teleprompter. There we go.
Hello, Swishers. We're coming to you live
From Cleveland.
Live from Cleveland, it's Sunday morning.
Afternoon.
Oh, I guess it is.